Y'all, I have spent the last 52 weeks, a calendar year, 365 days, waiting for this episode.
Touch grass.
We've had basketball in the last 365 days.
I know. But this episode in particular is special to me because as you guys see by the title, this is the season predictions episode. And every year as an NBA fan, we all have predictions. Even when you don't have a podcast, you kind of talk to your friends, write things down, think about who you expect to do everything. Last year is the single worst year I've ever had in my life of predictions. I need redemption so bad. Dude, if you look back to last year, we were on bullshit. We thought the Timberwolves would be in the play-in. We thought the Mavs would be in the play-in. I said the Hornets would make the play-in. It was a terrible year. And today we're going to do a better job. I'll say that. I'll make the bold prediction that we are going to do better than we did last year.
I said that the Mavs had a ceiling of 500 last year.
You were a hater. That's crazy. You're a hater.
I was not a fan. Not to be fair, they changed the whole team in the middle of the season, but who cares?
Yeah,
I was wrong.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
exactly.
I'm fine with that one. The Timberwolves is where we missed horribly. Many people did, but we were very adamant. Like, oh my God, they need to trade Cat. What are we doing?
Wish they did.
And then they,
Listen,
a year later.
Yeah, we weren't wrong. We just weren't right
just
necessarily.
early. We're just
wrong. Just early.
Exactly.
But yeah, man. Like I said, we're going to predict the standings in the West, the standings in the East, every single NBA award winner, and really just plant our flags and what our agendas are for the year. You guys are going to know who we're high on, who we're low on. And again, even last year, you guys saw that episode and you held us to it all year because you reminded us over and over again every time we were wrong. So all I'm saying is when we do better this year, remind us when we're right. Let me see that in my mentions.
This is where our legacies are made, brick by brick, quote by quote, yap by yap, tongue flapping of the tongue flapping. Let's do it. Let's lock in. This is where we're going to be held or have to hold each other accountable with these takes for the next 7 months.
Let's lock in. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Before
we get into it.
There we go.
We
are here. We are
I'll put my
here.
I'll put my salute down.
Before we get into it, I got to remind you guys that this coming Tuesday, NBA opening night, hopefully you guys are watching before that day, we are going to be in Boston at the NBA on TNT Roadshow, which is like a whole NBA festival outside of the Boston Arena before the game starts. We're going to be there doing a live show in person at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. And if you guys want to come, all you have to do is show up at City Hall Plaza. You can come watch us. You can watch the NBA on TNT guys inside the NBA do their live show taping after. A concert from Shabuzi, Benson Boone, a whole bunch of other stuff and festivities. Again, no tickets required. All you got to do is show up. I got the link in the description, link in the pinned comment. You can check it out and see the full schedule. It's a lot of stuff, but really, I just need you guys to come and watch us.
It's free 99. Come pull up and have a good time.
Exactly. Anybody in the Boston area, any Celtics fans that want to come laugh at Mo for hating them and then having to watch them win the championship, come through.
Laugh at me is hilarious. Let's roll.
Can I do it? Can I do it?
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's go.
The cranium is crazy. Oh my God.
I mean, I really don't know what to say.
Crayon eaters rejoice.
So we're going to start this off with the Western Conference because to me, by far the most interesting part of the episode. This is going to be incredibly difficult. I don't know if you're aware, but the Western Conference has a lot of good teams in it. And we are tasked with ordering those teams, knowing that they're all going to be like a game apart from each other in reality. But nevertheless, we have to have strong opinions about which team is better. I struggle with this mightily.
You're not the only one who struggled with this mightily. I mean, it's like, it feels like every single year we are saying the same exact things about the Western Conference, which is the West being so damn tough, the West being a bloodbath and all that. And I feel like now it feels like the same thing, maybe even more than ever at this point in time, because there could be a legit like 10 teams, maybe even 11, 12 teams in the Western Conference that genuinely are quality teams that deserve to be in the playoffs.
Bro, there's 14 teams that have a chance of making the play-in.
You're being real.
That's not dramatic. That's not dramatic at all. And I think for the top 6, there's about 8 teams that are good enough to be top 6 quality. So some of you guys are going to see us put your team a little bit lower than you like. Just know we don't hate them. In fact, I, speaking for myself, think like every team in the top 9 is like really good and could get as high as like 5. So sorry, some of you guys, you're not going to be happy with this, but just know we all think it's close. Okay. So we're starting off in the West with the bottom 5 teams. Donovan, you're up first. Tell us who you have 11 through 15.
Okay, at 11, we have the Golden State Warriors missing the play-in altogether. At number 12, we have the San Antonio Spurs. Number 13, we have the Los Angeles Clippers. At 14, I have the Utah Jazz. And at 15, obviously the worst team in the conference, the Portland Trailblazers.
No disagreement there. We got to say, I almost forgot. We're recording this at 12:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so just after noon on Thursday, October 17th. Literally a minute before we press record, Shams reported that Kawhi Leonard is going to miss an indefinite amount of time to start the year as he rehabs the inflammation in his right knee. So keep in mind, we made these lists before that news came out. We all are probably going to lower them a little bit now because if Kawhi's gone, they're obviously going to be like maybe the second worst team in the conference. So some adjustments need to be had, but we didn't have time to do it yet.
100%. Like you said, I thought that the Clippers were going to be trash before the news came out. But obviously now that they are without Kawhi for an indefinite amount of time, I wanted to put them where Utah is, but Utah also goes into tank mode in the second half of the season. So I can't necessarily do that. But this is insanely massive because we've joked around for a pretty good part of the offseason saying like, oh, what would be the funniest scenario for the Clipper season? And it would be that they have the season from hell and that they get the number 1 pick and it goes to Oklahoma City. That's in play now. That is in play. We know Kawhi's knees and his lower legs are just cooked by all means. And if he misses half the season, 3/4 of the season, he might miss the whole season if they're bad enough.
What if he fucking retires?
Who knows?
At this point,
they sent him home. They sent him home from the from the Olympics. They said he was going to be ready for training camp. He's not. They said he was going to be ready for opening day. He's not. Now we're going to have to see 36-year-old James Harden run Luka ball now or try to play the way that he was playing in 2019. This is a disaster of epic proportions. And honestly, it makes me think, what the hell were they thinking signing Kawhi to the extension and not Paul George? Like, I can't fathom the mistake that it was, knowing all the injuries that Kawhi has, knowing his history, and saying, yes, we're going to pick him over Paul George. I feel like that's in the last 10 years, it's one of the biggest mistakes in the NBA, picking Kawhi over Paul George.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it in terms of bigger name, and Kawhi is eventually gonna, if anyone's gonna lead us to a championship, and it's gonna be behind his name, not Paul George. But at the same time, Paul George shows up naturally way more often. Ironically enough, they're both hurt. Neither of us are gonna see them for at least Paul George the first 2 weeks of the season. But I agree with you. It's generational mismanagement, and it's gonna come back to bite them come June.
This just broke. We haven't really had time to think about it. Shams is going on TV as we speak, and he's going to give more details. But first thought, would you be shocked if he missed the whole season?
No.
How could you be? How could you possibly be surprised by that?
No, I'm not. Anything that has to do with Kawhi Leonard and missing games, I'm not surprised by. You can tell me that he's going to miss. Honestly, the less amount of games that he misses, the more shocked that I am. If he comes back in a week, I'd be like, oh wow, that's kind of quick. But we've seen Kawhi miss long stretches of time, and it's just this is such a terrible situation for them. Shout out to them for having the Intuit Dome. I'm glad you guys have the new thing. But this is exactly the situation that you didn't want to be in, where this is the only reason in my mind why I can see them saying, okay, we have to keep Kawhi is because, okay, we have a new stadium and you don't just want it to be James Harden basketball in 2024. Come watch us play. That's exactly what they have now. It's just James Harden and Norman Powell on the marquee, and it's going to be the NBA version of SoFi Stadium, where you're just going to the arena because it's brand new, it's super nice, and you want to watch your favorite player for a tenth of the price than a Lakers game. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why the Clippers are here.
The next time I touch down in LA and if there's a game, I'm definitely gonna go touch down and tap in with the Clippers game to use the toilets. I heard they're very nice.
That's what I'm
Massive
saying.
amounts, ain't no long lines, just straight in and out.
Yeah, man. We can move off the Clippers. They're in despair. More to be heard late in the future. Maybe this coming stream on Tuesday we'll have more details to talk about. But for now, move them down your list. Outside of that, listen, if this news didn't break and we thought Kawhi would play a requisite amount of Kawhi Leonard games, call it 55, whatever, I would have said you're out of your mind for putting the Spurs above them. But now I think I'm putting the Spurs above them too. So I don't really have an issue with anything on this list anymore.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Portland's where they need to be at. Utah 14th. We all know what they are. The Clippers 13. We just covered that. The Spurs, me personally, I'm a little bit higher on them. And about the Warriors, I mean, I'm indifferent. They're the Warriors.
I'll tell you that honestly, 11 and 12, and the overall placement of the Warriors was the hardest thing for me because
It's tough. They're a very tough team.
Yeah, because like on one hand, I don't want to like completely disrespect Steph and say like that they can't get to the 10 seed out west, and also I don't want to overrate what Wemby might be able to do this year. And it's like, yes, he finally got Chris Paul. But he got like 39, 40-year-old Chris Paul. Yes, he got Stephon Castle. You're adding a rookie. Yes, you got Harrison Barnes. It's Harrison Barnes. Like there's still a lot of things that they need work on. But can they make that jump? Like can they be at 11? Maybe. And the Warriors just look so uninteresting.
So how we're gonna do this is every section I have one of you guys or one of us headline it with the intro, then the other two follow. So let's reveal me and Mo's list because we'll talk about these top two teams.
All right, go ahead.
I have this is before the news. I had the Clippers at 11, the Warriors at 12, Utah at 13, San Antonio at 14, and Portland at 15. Now with the news, I'm gonna go ahead and slide the Clippers down to 14, move everybody up. So I also have Golden State at 11 now. Listen,
You hater.
I love Victor Wembanyama as much as anybody, including you two, anybody listening. Outside of Spurs fans, I'm with you guys. Why are we pretending this team is going to be great just because we like Vic so much? Not even great, like good. And why are we pretending that Utah is going to be the 14 seed, something they've never been? Utah's good as hell. If you have Will Hardy, you have Lauri Markkanen, and that crazy deep team they have around him, they're going to be competitive. I think they for 3 years in a row, they've tanked in the second half of the year and traded their players to try to get a medium tier pick and went to 10 every time. They didn't go to like the third pick in the draft. They can't tank that far. They're a good team. Unless they tank from the start and make huge offloading moves, there's no way in my mind they could possibly be 14. 13 I felt like was too low. So now with the Clippers going down, Utah being 12, I still feel like I'm giving Utah like the worst case scenario. This team is always good.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, you're right.
So my logic is I'm not flipping them because I believe that the Utah Jazz will go ahead and start selling off picks. They have to realize at a certain point in time, like, yeah, you can play this in middle game, which is cool. And I like the idea of doing two things at once is interesting. But more times than not, you're going to have to pick a side. And I think this is the year.
Do they though?
They kind of do.
But
because at this
they
point in
just
time,
re-signed
like,
Lauri
what is, yeah, you're right. They did resign Lauri Markkanen over 4 years or whatever his contract is. And he can't be traded for the entirety of like, this basketball calendar. If something's going to happen, it has to happen during the summer. And me personally, I feel like they're going to come into realization, send off a lot of stuff. There might be a situation where Lauri Markkanen gets shut down for the sake of them trying to capture the flag in Cooper Flag in June. And I just don't see them continuously playing this game. I feel like them playing both games and landing not a mediocre pick in 7 or 8 because players are players. But at the end of the day, I think no one, if they're going to build, they're going to have to build through the NBA draft. You're not signing anyone, Utah. And also,
Dude.
you're not, you could trade for someone. That's a very real possibility.
Yeah, there we go.
That's a very
That's
real
what they're going to do. They have
But-
Lauri Markkanen, an also level player. They have a crazy deep young core. They just added Collier with a 27th overall pick, which is a great steal. Cody Williams obviously coming into there. They have a ton of young talent. They already have one star in place. They have veterans in place in Jordan Clarkson, John Collins. I'm forgetting who else. They're going to try to make a trade for a star. So they're going to try to be good enough and eventually pair Lowry with the star player, send out those veterans I'm talking about. So you have whoever it may be, let's Darius Garland. I don't know. Whoever crashes and burns this year, who's to say? Garland, Lowry, and a bunch of young players. Like, that's the play. You said to enter the capture the flag sweepstakes. You have to take really far to be in that bottom tier to get that one pick.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be able to tank that far. I think that's going to be out of the realm of possibility for them.
Well, okay, so like they can't. Yes, mathematically, you want to give yourself the best chance, we've seen people jump up, you know,
Sure.
over the last like 4 years, and we've seen that the Pistons, who have had the worst record multiple times, have ended up falling to 5. Teams always get up. So if you want to say, you know, we will do a little bit of development and take our chances, and if we don't get flagged, then we'll trade for a star. I'm glad you said Darius Garland, because one of the things that I've been thinking about is, you know, who do they bring in? And Garland is a name that I've thought of, and Trae Young is a name that
Exactly.
I said this last year.
I know I said it last year, but I do think that, like, for Utah, if you do have Trae, you have Trae and Lowry, and then let's say that you end up getting flagged, and you have Trae, Lowry, and Cooper. Like, that's pretty interesting.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Danny Ainge isn't going to tank forever. At a certain point, he is going to be aggressive. So Isaac, you've swayed me, and especially now that Kawhi is out, I will put the Clippers at 14. And I'll put Utah at 13.
You saint.
But
Wow.
but San Antonio is. I do think that San Antonio is going to be better than you think. Like, they wasted half of the season last year.
What I think is they're the team that's going to shut down the second half of the season and go for a high pick, if anything. I think they're the more realistic candidate. These guys they brought in, Harrison Barnes. Salute to the once good player. So Harrison Barnes is cooked. Harrison Barnes is not impactful and going to make them a better team at all, I think.
Wow.
I think
At
actually
all.
they're at all, and not even a little bit. He was legitimately one of the worst rotation players in the league last year. Any Kings fan will tell you he's horrible. And I think actually it's more likely Spurs fans the second half of the year are like, please fucking bench this guy. Just start Castle at the 3, I guess. Like, we need to see something else that's somebody that's going to give us like a little bit of punch. Chris Paul, I like him. Never healthy, not going to play more than 17 minutes a game. He'll be very good for Wemby's development, very good for Castle's development, and like good to have that guy in the locker room. I don't think he'll be important for winning. So it really comes down to the biggest addition they make. Do you think Castle's going to be really good as a rookie? Maybe. Is he going to be so good that he like drives winning to a high level? Doubt it. He's a rookie. Is Vassell going to make a big jump? Maybe. I guess that's the biggest TBD. And second half of last year, Wemby was already playing at the superstar level that we expect, averaging like 24 points per game, averaging 3.7 blocks per game. Like, I think he'll continue that we saw in the second half of the season. And obviously, all bets are off. If he makes a Luka type leap in year 2 and is a first-team All-NBA player, then maybe something crazy can happen. But I don't think anything around him improves to the level that I'm going to expect him to be better than the teams above him, who we know what to expect with the Warriors. They're going to be good. I mentioned with Utah, we know what's going on with the Rockets and their crazy deep core. We all have them hired for a reason. Like, the Spurs have nothing outside of just Wemby hope.
So do you think they haven't at least got to a level of just like competence around Wemby with Harrison Barnes compared to what they had last year in Champagne, or like the Keldon Johnsons of the world, who's eating up OD minutes? And like,
I'm not sure Harrison Barnes is going to be that much better than Keldon Johnson, but do I think they'll be competent? Yes. We're not going to see first half of the season Spurs where they had
right there.
Sohan
Let me stop you
starting.
right there. So my logic is, if you have that competency, and also if Wemby raises to the level that a lot of us are assuming that he will raise to, this team should naturally be. Now, I have him higher than you guys, obviously, but not that much higher. I don't have him 9.
Oh, you have him in the next tier. Holy shit.
Like that. Yeah,
Oh, they're in
exactly.
the
That's why
Damn.
I'm going for bat. That's why I'm going for bat for him. Just a little bit. Not that much higher, but they're a little bit higher. So if Wemby is who y'all are telling me who he is, and they signed someone like Harrison Barnes, who's not tanking your team, but is also not, again, very
We got to stop saying his
productive.
name. He doesn't matter. He doesn't matter.
He is
has a
a
name.
NBA
Respect
player.
it. Bro, respect the Tar
Focus
Heel
on Castle
legend.
and
What are you
Vassell.
talking? Respect the Tar
Nah,
Heel.
we're
That's not
hating.
what we're gonna do. What has Harrison Barnes done to you guys?
But not making enough baskets.
Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle. The influence of
Messed up the
CP3.
73 and 19.
Devin Vassell and his growth and projection. I think having these 3-4 guys who can at bare minimum not be what they were last year, and including, obviously, it's like huge X factor in Wemby's growth. Can he hit that, like you said, Luka type level, average 25, 26, potentially be the defensive player of the year? They should not be in this tier.
They absolutely should be, though. And it's not, I'm with you. You know, the thing is, I agree with you that they're going to be better for the reasons you think. Obviously, I don't think as much as you do, but it's just about the teams above them. Like, obviously, the Clippers are down now, so they're out of the equation. But right above them, Utah, for all the reasons I just mentioned, they're always good. They have an elite coach. They have a star player who is, for last year, around as good as Wemby right now. And then they have a much better supporting cast. Obviously, I think Utah's better for that reason. Golden State, they're Golden State. I don't got to explain why I think the Steph Curry-led team, it can still be better than them. It's a night and day difference of experience and regular season acumen.
I mean,
everybody above them
yeah.
is very competitive and going to be trying. And obviously, the reality is somebody's going to get injured and fall down this
Exactly.
list. So, would it be the Clippers? Maybe whoever's above them, another team surprises us. That could push the Spurs into being close within, top shouting range. But if everybody's healthy and everybody's to plan, I just don't see how they stack up with these teams above them that are a little bit older and more experienced.
I agree with Mo's logic. And as somebody who really, really believes in Wemby, I don't think it's crazy to think that
It's not crazy at all.
That they do make the play in. And like I've sat here for the last year saying like he's, gonna be this and he's gonna be that. And if he's on this projection of what Luka was doing, like Luka had his team in the playoffs in year 2. And now that this, field has expanded and all you need to do is get to 10, yeah, I'm okay with that. Even with Golden State, like, yes, they brought in Kyle Anderson and Buddy Hield. When was the last time Buddy Hield played meaningful basketball and like helped a team?
He did for the first time last year, and it was a terrible experience.
How many games is Draymond going to play? Is Steph going to be able to play enough games? Because we've seen him get hurt plenty of times. Like this is a team that 100% like their whole season kind of rests on how good Jonathan Kuminga is going to be. And that scares me. That's one of the reasons why I have them outside the play-in, because I don't have a lot of faith in Kuminga. And so if you tell me
what does San Antonio season rest on? How good Vassell can be? How good Castle can be? Like,
It's a multitude
no.
of guys
bet.
compared to. I think it is a better bet because you have more options. So it outweighs itself in general. Kuminga has to be the perfect ideal fit in order for them to not be. I don't want to say around this range, but yeah,
See,
you know what I mean?
I know what you're
I
saying.
think Castle's good.
Draymond and
I
Steph
think
has
that
a
for
much
18
higher
minutes
floor.
a game.
Definitely.
Chris Paul, I think for 18 minutes a game, Chris Paul can be the smartest player on the floor and do the dumbest, most basic thing and say, oh yeah, where's the 7'5" guy? Let me throw it up 9 feet in the air so that only he can catch it. I think that that's possible. And so I think that, San Antonio definitely won't be the 14th team in the conference.
Yeah, because again,
can't be.
I don't think so either because teams are going to get hurt. And like we said, the Clippers are down there. But I don't think they'll be better than Utah. I don't think they'll be better than the Warriors. It's just, again, I mentioned at the start of the episode, there's 14 teams out there vying for a spot that they're all respectable. So somebody has to be last. And I'll bet with the team with the worst roster outside of the God tier player who we're assuming can be God tier in year 2, but that's not necessarily something every Hall of Famer does. Not everybody immediately makes their team competitive in year 2.
So
Yeah, not everyone, but he will. he's just like that. Like
I don't know. He's a
think
big man. It's hard. Like Luka could do it because he's a guard and is
Yeah.
able to like pull offense up high with his style of play. I think Wemby can be just as good, but the style of play and type of player you are matters. He's not going to be as much of a lift everybody around type of guy.
he can
Presumably in
be
year
a
2.
lift like defensively. That's what he was last year. But is that enough?
Man,
I
they
don't
were
know.
shit defensively
I can
last
agree
year,
with
even with him.
Yeah. So with this being said, are you moving? Because I kind of forget, and I'm assuming some of the crowd you just forget too. Are the Clippers going to be 14 on your list now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
14 on
definitely.
your
Okay.
list,
And then you're moving everybody
and you're
else up.
moving,
Yeah.
and you're moving.
Okay.
Okay, them up. Cool.
Should we talk about Golden State real quick before we move on? Because we all have them here. So Warriors fans are going to want to hear why we hate their team.
I'm sorry, your team is broken. Like the version of the Warriors that everybody thinks is about to show up is close to like the 22. Like the ideal situation is that you get a 22 situation where you have this amazing Steph Curry season, Draymond is there, and then you have just enough pieces around him, right? You have Kuminga playing the Andrew Wiggins role, and on a night-to-night basis, you don't really necessarily know who your second best player is going to be, but that's the point, is that it's truly going to be strength in numbers. Do you have any common sense to look at this roster and be like, yeah, Trace Jackson Davis, Gary Payton Jr. at this point in his career, Buddy Hield, Melton, Kyle Anderson, who, listen, he's been shooting that thing in preseason. Shout to him. But is that collection of guys an actual group that can compete in the Western Conference when you have teams above them like Houston, who is like 8 deep off rip with the young core, when you have Sacramento, who has Fox, DeMar, Sabonis. You have the Pelicans who have a lot of talent. At a certain point, you can have your top guy, and I guess this would be the argument against San Antonio, but it's still Steph, so you have to give him his respect. At a certain point, other teams are just more talented, and I can't rightfully and confidently say yes, you are going to be one of the 10 best.
Here's the thing. Everybody, over the last few days, I feel like there's been a lot of Golden State Warrior hype. People being like, oh, maybe they'll be better than you think, After they had a good win over the Lakers in preseason, which...
Those are two different things.
Yeah. But they're being hyped for having the most depth they've ever had in years and all this stuff because they have a lot of good players. And I think that's a little bit true, but their problem isn't whether or not they have depth or not. It's that the depth just doesn't make sense. They've assembled a roster with a lot of good players. So you might be a Warriors fan and you might look up and down and see 4 good guards. Moses Moody's my 4th guard in the rotation. That's great. 4 good forwards. You're like, oh my God, where are we going to squeeze in Kyle Anderson? He's really helpful. So-and-so. There's a lot of good options. The problem is none of them fucking fit together to make a 5-man lineup at minimum, your starters, that maximize each other. If you want to have a ceiling, Kuminga has to be a star. We've been saying it all summer. If you want Kuminga to be a star, playing next to Draymond Green, you need a stretch 5 there. Because Draymond has said that he's at his best playing the 4. We all know that to be true defensively. You can't play a traditional 5 in Trace Jacks Davis and play Kuminga at the 3. Your spacing will be horrendous. That'll be the worst case scenario to maximize Kuminga and get him the necessary touches, the necessary spots to make him have the ability to make that leap. So that's already an issue. Moses Moody is good. We all want to see him thrive. He can shoot. He's probably their best shooter. He hasn't been as dynamic of a shooter enough to earn a spot in the rotation. I think if he was good enough, he would have earned it by now. It's not just that Kerr hates him. It's that there's a lot of competent players there that they need to get enough passing on the floor, enough defense on the floor, enough size on the floor. And it's just a hodgepodge of players that don't have a good 5-man answer to me that makes them deadlier than a team above them that just has a more clear path there.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on. And then although yes, I do see and can agree with the depth of the Warriors being there, very vital and important, but your depth can only take you so far when the top end of your ship is just completely broken. Not Steph or Draymond, obviously, but more so I'm just thinking about the guys who are expected to step up, more so in Jonathan Kuminga. If there's no infrastructure for him to be set up to be who he is at his peak potential, then I just don't envision them flying up these rankings at all. So, and also on top of that too, they're a single Draymond Green incident away from happening from this complete ship capacity.
Good point. Good point. For much of this list,
and then
for this whole list, these teams are very close. Big distinct factor for me to break ties is how equipped you are to withstand injury. That matters a lot every year, and you're going to see that in my logic a lot. So I'm glad you mentioned that because the Warriors are not equipped to withstand injury at all.
What are the Warriors going to do if Steph Curry rolls his ankle or twist his arm or something?
Capture the flag. That's what they're gonna do.
At that point, it's you want Pods to really go ahead and average 20, 23, and that's just not him. That's not his game, bro. So it's at this point in time, that's why I have him at 12, just like you.
Yeah, man. All right, we're almost 30 minutes in on the bottom 5 in this conference. We can move on, but
let's go.
I won't be shocked if the Warriors make the play-in. I'll say that. And, with the Clippers moving down, I now have them at 11, so I think they're right there. One injury away, they'll be in that range. But I will be shocked if they're top 6. So I just feel like they have a lower ceiling. And maybe I'm underrating the floor a little bit because if you have Steph, you have Draymond, you have Steve Kerr, you're going to be competent. So I could be underrating the floor just a tad bit. But I don't feel the need to gas that when the ceiling just isn't there.
If the Warriors end up genuinely making the play-in, it's because Steph and Draymond genuinely had a pretty much healthy season. Draymond has been on his best behavior, no timeout, no in-school suspension or nothing like that. He's been there. And then on top of that too, Kuminga.
Wiggins bounced back.
Wait, who? I forgot. This is our first time mentioning him.
Oh, I forgot
But
he was on the team. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are they going to start? Maybe Steph, Hield, Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond? That's not a ton of spacing even with Hield. That's not a ton of size defensively unless Kuminga makes a big-ass leap defensively.
My bad, Wiggs.
Damn, Wiggins, you there?
I didn't forget. I didn't fucking forget. I just had no reason to say his name because nobody has.
Yeah,
nobody has a reason to say his name lately.
Bro. Andrew Wiggins, wow, what a name. Sounds like a vintage player.
All right, man. Next tier.
Next tier,
7 through 10, the play-in race. Mo, tell us your 7 through 10.
heating up. So number 7, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. 8, I have the Sacramento Kings. 9, it pains me, but I have the New Orleans Pelicans. And at 10, I have the San Antonio Spurs.
Okay, this is pretty chalk. Obviously, I think the Spurs a little too high, but we've talked about that. That's fair. 10 isn't crazy, so I'm not going to raise hell about that.
Yeah,
I have the exact same 7 through 9, I think. We can just
Okay.
reveal the next 5.
Really?
that is
Yep.
hilarious.
We'll keep moving. I have Lakers at 7, 8 Sacramento, 9 Pelicans. The only difference is 10 is Houston.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, for me, I have Phoenix at 7, New Orleans at 8, Houston at 9, and Sacramento at 10. So
Oh my
Wow.
God. Here's a
Sacramento
fucking
at 10.
divide.
a
Sacramento
little,
at 10.
a little bit
Wow.
of a difference.
Okay.
So I guess where we started.
Okay, Sacramento. Let's talk about them first. Let's start with the lesser important one. Sacramento
Damn.
fans.
Kings
are
fans
gonna-
like, what the fuck? The fuck you
That's
mean
not
that's
what-
important?
What do we do?
Sorry, that's not what I meant. I meant because I see Phoenix and I have a lot to say about Phoenix, but we're gonna get Sac out of the way. I honestly feel like 8.
Get outta here.
I'm putting Sacramento. I feel like I'm putting Sacramento a little bit too low. I think they're gonna have regular season equity to get wins and look more like they were 2 years ago with DeMar in there. So I feel like they could be 7 and like maybe they can be 6. 10 to me feels crazy. Putting them below Houston feels a bit crazy
Yeah.
to me.
Below Houston's insane. What do you see in Houston in order for them? Because I had them in my lower tier. I had them at 11.
So
what
you're
do you
putting
see
a
in
lot
Houston?
of faith. You're putting a lot of faith in unknowns to make a jump, which I understand. The logic isn't crazy, but I'm not sure we've seen enough outside of Sengun to like assume those jumps will happen. You know?
Yeah, and listen, I understand. I think that I'm putting a lot of faith in Ime to continue building what he already has been. I think that last year the Rockets had 2 like really interesting like stretches. They had a stretch where they just could not win on the road. And they
Yeah.
were like they were like 2-14 or something like that, and it was crazy. I think that evens itself out a little bit. And then you had the long win streak at the end of the season. You can't really bank on like 14, 15 game win streaks every year. So I think that comes back. But at the same time, I think that for a team that ended up at 500 and you are going to, assuming you have your best player for a majority of the year, yeah, I kind of like that. And I also think that by the end of the year, we will actually have a like legitimate 2 guard in the starting spot. And I think that Reed Shepherd is actually going to come in and do a lot for this team. And you still have your adults in the room. You still have Dylan Brooks. You still have Fred VanVleet. You have Ime there. Asking for, 3 more games, 3 more wins for a team that has already been together? I actually don't think that it's that crazy to ask Houston to be in the 9th spot.
You know, it's not crazy at
I
all.
think-
I mean, again, I haven't 10 whoop-de-doo. But I think Sacramento is going to be probably like the 9th or 10th offense and a medium tier defense. Last year, Houston was a top 10 defense. I think that's replicable with the Ime stuff you're talking about.
Mhm.
That's mostly coaching. I think that's fine. Offensively, they were 23rd in rim scoring and 21st in 3-point scoring efficiency for both those. I'm not sure that's going to be a whole lot better this year. I think the offense is still going to be a little stagnant. Maybe Reed Shepherd is going to be like a star immediately, which I think is very possible. That's my guy. I think he's going to be the real deal there long term. But I'm not sure he's going to have the minutes load to like make a huge impact as a rookie. Fred is still Fred, still doesn't get to the rim at all. Jalen Green is still going to be Jalen Green in October. Maybe he can be March Jalen Green for a whole year and blow our minds. I don't know. Jabari's still not going to be a scoring impact. God knows Dylan Brooks isn't going to have a scoring impact. Like, I'm not sure I see a roadmap to the offense being elite unless they fully change their dynamic and fully empower different young guys.
And I feel like by the time they actually do get to a point to where they realize, insert him here, put this guy in the back burner, it might be too late in the season. And I don't know if they'll have enough ground to make up similar to last year. I don't know if they're going to go on another like 10, 15 game, 20-ish game run.
You know what it is?
You know?
Either the first week we're gonna see that they're holy shit great and they're like a top 6 seed and we're gonna be like, oh my god, they fucking figured it out and all of our predictions are too low, or I think they'll be closer to 10, 11 because it looks kind of how you'd expect coming off of last year. It's one or the other. Like they're boom or bust to me.
Yeah. And my boom, I guess, is probably like around 8. I don't see a world where they can get into the top 6, but I do think that they will be better than Sacramento. And I've come around on the DeMar signing because I do think that it adds another element to their offense. and it gives them, we know that Sabonis isn't this like great scorer, and especially when you talk about playing in the Western Conference, it's a lot of close games. It gives you another option down the stretch of games, and DeMar has been very, very good as a clutch player. So I do think he's worth some wins there, but you have this lineup of like Fox and Sabonis and DeMar, and it's like, who's guarding?
Exactly.
It's the thing. It's like we asked this question 3-4 years ago in Chicago when you had Levine, DeRozan, and Vooch, and you're like, yo, who is guarding anybody? Now it ended up that all you needed was Lonzo and Caruso, and you ended up having like an amazing defense. That's probably like you don't have a Caruso level defender on this team.
So
And-
I follow a lot of Sacramento.
Keegan Murray.
Yeah, I follow a lot of Sacramento Kings fans now
He's not
because
Caruso. He's not Caruso.
a couple weeks ago I tweeted like a preliminary version of my standings, and I had the Lakers above the Kings, and Kings Twitter found it and ripped me a new one. So I followed a couple of them, and I've seen a lot of their thought processes from that. They really believe they're going to be a great defense because Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis. I guess they think that Keegan Murray is Herb Jones and Keon Ellis is fucking Derek White. I am not of that opinion. I'm with them on the offense. I think it could be really good for the regular season. I think there's no way in hell they have a top 15 defense. I will be baffled if they have anything close to top 10 defense needed to be a good team.
And I don't see it. And I think that, I can't do it. I can't do it with them.
Genuinely, it does feel like a little bit that they're a better version of the Bulls back in 2021, like you're alluding to, Donovan. So because De'Aaron Fox is there, but at the same time too, there's only so much that De'Aaron Fox can do. As much as I believe like every ounce of star in him, I don't think that he'll be able to succumb the just natural deficiencies of this team, whether it be the 3-point shooting and Sabonis being at the helm in the face of your defense. Like, yeah, if you want to believe in Keegan Murray and also Keon Ellis, like you can't compare them to Kings fans. You can't be like, oh yeah, this is our Derek White of the team or Herb Jones of the team and all that, when, like a big part of having a great defense is making sure that your center is straight. Look at all the top 10 defenses in the entire NBA. There are no real outliers in terms of like what you see at the front. And if there are, it's probably like a Nikola Jokic-led team. But even then, Nikola Jokic is not no slouch. So it's like,
I think they could have a good defense. It's possible to build a good defense with Sabonis and Fox if your 3 and your 4 are both like dynamite defenders and you have a ton of long, flexible defensive versatility out there. DeMar is not that. Shout out DeMar. I think there's a world where he gives them something very useful and good offensively and makes him a net positive, better team than last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that to be the case defensively. I think for everything Harrison Barnes did terrible last year, I don't believe DeMar DeRozan to be any better defensively.
And that's a knock. That's just a knock for me. I look at all these other teams and I believe in the jump that's happening for Houston. It's clunky, but I would rather have the clunkiness of New Orleans because I think that overall they have more talent. And so I would take them. And then obviously Phoenix looks better. And so I would take Phoenix over them.
Yeah, we all have New Orleans here. I'm just banking. Okay, so one, I learned from last year. They were already clunky as hell last year, and they found a way to be really good and make it work defensively. So I'm kind of just like, I guess they'll probably make it work again to some degree. But I'm also banking on the fact that they're probably going to make some kind of trade by the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping they do, but let's say they don't. I still think, as stupid as the roster is, assume they start Daniel Tice or eventually Misi, Zion at the 4, DeJounte Murray at the 1, and then probably one of their forwards at the 2, whether it be Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, or CJ McCollum, and then Brandon Ingram slotting in the 3. That's a 9 seed ass team to me.
I'm expecting this team to like fully implode this season. This team is great for like one thing and one thing only. Like if Zion is out this season, then or if Zion just like gets hurt for 20, 30 games or whatever, which is
actually very funny,
safe to kind of assume.
It's funny because he has in the same spot as me. I expect him to be decent. He said they're gonna fucking implode.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you in terms of like, yeah, they're going to be all right, but I think they're going to implode and they're going to be that type of all right, meaning like, Brandon Ingram's going to be gone. Some disastrous shit's going to happen with DeJounte or probably even CJ because he feels like a problem in the starting lineup. Imploding for them is a good way, is good because then they're going to need something to blow up in their face to finally see what pathway they need to take.
Listen, Onyeka Okongwu for Trey Murphy. Who says no?
Not me.
Probably.
I'm kidding. People keep wanting to trade Trey Murphy now because he's the odd man out. If they trade Trey Murphy, they are asininely stupid. I will be furious for Pelicans fans if their answer becomes trade Trey Murphy. I don't think it will be.
Honestly,
but, man,
there are rumors. Now, they could be fake. Okay, they could be fake, could be fake, could be fake. And it was
You
leaning
think
towards my
Centel?
side too. No, not Centel. Just like, uncredible reporters putting things out there and there. Remember, like, for a hot second, like, Herb Jones was, like, getting fished out there to the Atlanta Hawks.
yeah, that was
And he
fake as hell.
thrown in the market as well.
The Atlanta Hawks leaked that for sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't put it too much past by the Pelicans in that manner, but
Man,
Yeah.
if they trade Herb or Trey Murphy, David Griffin, say goodbye. The Pelicans fans are gonna tear you a new one. But let's talk about before we move on to the top 6. We'll talk about Phoenix in the top 6 because obviously me and Mo have them there because we have some sense. The Lakers. The Lakers.
just call you dumb, Donovan. You gonna
You're
take
very
that?
rude for that. You're very
I
rude.
know. I'm kidding. Well, I'm assuming you have the Lakers and the Suns swap from we do, which is fair.
I do. Yeah.
Tell us. Okay, so the Lakers. I don't know how to feel because I've been relatively optimistic about JJ Redick and what he brings to the team and how that alone could make them better than they were with Darvin Ham last year, just by having a smarter offensive mind in the room and enough continuity that, like, they're the 7th seed last year. So even with the West getting better, I think they get marginally enough better if they stay about 7 in the West. The only thing that I had a little bit of pause with is I really debated putting Sacramento above them just because I think by the end of the season, JJ Redick is going to have a great offense. I said they'll finish top 10 in offense. I still believe that. But he is a rookie head coach and a new staff. I can see them starting slow. So I struggle to, even with my fandom and my optimism, getting them to the top 6.
That's okay. There's 2 things and 2 reasons why.
And who the fuck is playing defense? I forgot to mention that. Sorry.
Again, listen, you have AD down there, and so it's
Not much.
Fucking
else.
AD will figure it out. God damn.
that's gonna be the entire solution. There's 2 things though that I have. So one, I think that the new coach, I think that having JJ there and having somebody that's clearly just competent is worth at least a game or 2, right? There's not going to be games where it's going to be overtly going into the game whenever you see the graphic of the starting 5 and you're like, damn it, Darvin lost this game for us already. like you're just not going to have that, right? You're just not going to have that. I think that's 1. 2, Kevin Durant had his healthiest season in like 5 years last year. Played 75 games. I don't think that at 30-something, he's going to have a second consecutive 75-game season. It's very
You're gonna make
hard.
me say it. You're gonna make me say it.
I understand LeBron misses
If we're
games.
playing the health game,
I understand
you cannot
LeBron.
tell me you're more worried about Phoenix than you are about LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Last just
I can't be.
similar
I
to
can't
what you
be.
said. It was the first time in like
I can't be.
since 2020 probably since we've seen AD and LeBron healthy together.
It is the first time they had a full health
AD,
season.
So it's
AD has shown me over the last 2 years that he is no longer brittle. And if he comes out this season and gets hurt,
See, that's my problem.
I will be furious because now I'm on your side and now you're getting hurt. And this is
He
the
is
one,
no longer brittle.
and this is the one.
I hate
time-
reactionary bullshit, man. Ankle turns are so lucky. Nothing changed about AD. Just nobody fell on his knee last year. That's the only difference. Nothing changed at all. The fact that you
Anyways.
think he's brittle and then he gets lucky for 1 year, now he's not. If he gets unlucky again, he's brittle again. Like, nothing changed. Turn the camera off.
I understand that you're upset and that this is like a 2-year thing that you've been trying to like, be mad about. I'm saying that for multiple years, Anthony Davis was hurt. It seemed all the time. And for the last 2 years, he hasn't been that. So whether if it's his fault or not, he was getting hurt all the time. The last 2 years he's shown me he's been pretty healthy. So I feel very comfortable at this point saying like, yeah, AD is probably in a space where I can expect him to play a certain amount of games. LeBron, for the last 5-6 years, yeah, he's gonna have his 20-game stretch. I think that they're gonna be okay. Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, you have to bake in Bradley Beal missing 30 games instantly. I think that I think that Kevin Durant is in the same space where he's probably going to play anywhere from like 55 to 62 games. And now, like, yes, I believe in Bud. The 3-point stuff is cool in the preseason. I'm just going to bet on LeBron and Anthony Davis over Book, KD, and Beal over a whole season. And as bad as the Lakers were, they were like a game or two behind Phoenix last year.
Yeah.
And I think that, again, just being competent in this league goes a long way. And the Lakers are right there to where they're going to be competent. So, yes, I have them at 6.
Okay. I think they'll be very confident offensively. Defensively, can you name me their 3 best perimeter defenders? Try.
AD, LeBron.
It's AD.
Perimeter defenders who can fight over screens and check mobile wings and guards.
I got AD.
AD can do that.
The
AD
Brow.
doesn't count. AD
That's
the
the
Brow.
issue. No, that's the
Anthony
issue.
Davis.
He can do that. He does that, but for him to be
Kentucky
the best is
legend,
the issue.
right? Like that's their defense.
They're going to need Jared Vanderbilt to play a big part in the team. And I do trust that JJ Redick can make him work offensively better than Darvin Ham could, because Darvin Ham barely fucking tried. So Jared Vanderbilt's hurt right now, by the way. TBD on when he's going to be healthy. Let's assume he comes back and is healthy eventually. That could help. Outside of that, you're going to need Max Christie to defend up and go check wings. He is very raw still. He can shoot. He's getting better. I don't know if I want to throw him to the Wolves as my primary defender. Reeves, they've been talking about giving him more and more offensive creation load. That doesn't excite me for his defensive prospects. I don't think he's going to get better defensively. Are they going back to the Cam Reddish well? I don't know. Is Dalton Connect going to be checking wings as a rookie? I don't know. Like, very few paths I see to building a competent perimeter defense and getting to like a top 12 level defense.
LeBron James Jr., it is now your time. You are now ball stopper number 1. This is your job. You want to make the team. You want to stay away from what's the name?
South
the
Bay.
You want to stay
Old
away
Bay
from
Lakers.
the South Bay Lakers?
Let's do it.
I need you to slap the floor, pull them shorts up, and let's guard. Let's defend. All right.
Yeah. So no, I do
close
think the
my
Lakers will make a
eyes.
trade at some
You know
point.
what this
They'll make a trade for sure. So maybe it'll get better.
Yeah.
But right now, this looks like the 8th best offense and like the 18th best defense, which is not necessarily a top 6 formula.
That's fine.
Unless it can be like the 3rd best offense, then we can cook. But that's hard to get to.
Yeah, I don't know if they
I have a
that
lot of
profile.
faith in the Lakers. I have a lot of faith in the Lakers. And I put them at 6 because I was trying to be realistic. But when I was thinking about like their ceiling, I was like, can they be like the 4th best team in this conference?
Oh my god!
Ooh, man.
All right, let's move on to
You
the
are
top 6.
on
And
it.
We'll talk about this a little more in the top 6.
Yeah.
I think I'm up first to reveal this section of the chart. Here we go. At number 1, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. At number 2, I have the Dallas Mavericks. At number 3, I have the Denver Nuggets. At number 4, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves. At number 5, the Phoenix Suns. And number 6, the Memphis Grizzlies.
You are a
No,
fake
hold on.
Edie fan. You've
No.
been screaming
Hold on.
all summer long that the
No.
Memphis Grizzlies are going to be great.
Listen,
that,
no.
that Zach Edie is here. That John
Let me
Morant, that we
come to
forgot
his
how good he
defense.
was. And you put him at
Listen.
6 on the
Listen.
line?
Okay. Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
I thought we
Okay.
were here.
Okay, here's the thing. I do believe the Memphis Grizzlies are going to be extremely good. The problem is, I think all 6 of these teams are extremely good. And this summer, I was able to say, hey, give Memphis the 3rd seed, because I wasn't put to the task of actually comparing and actually putting my name to a list. Once I actually got to the nitty fucking gritty, I was like, oh my God, I love all these teams. And I had them at
Indecisive.
4.
Pick a team. Pick a stance.
I did. I had them at 4 for most of the time. I moved them down in the last couple of days because, one, I mentioned my biggest tiebreaker is how equipped are you to withstand injury? And I believe they are very poorly equipped to withstand injury because they are already fucking injured. Their 2 young, promising wings are already going to miss the start of the season. Vince Williams hurt. J.J. Jackson hurt. John Morant, first preseason game, landed a little weird and had to come out of the game for a second. And I just think back to when they were the 2 seed and were really good with Ja hurt. They had Tyus Jones, who is pretty fucking overrated, but a competent point guard that for that team gave them enough offensive juice to keep the offense flowing and make it so they can withstand those injuries. I don't believe they have anybody on this roster right now that can survive offensively with Ja Morant out. I like Marcus Smart. Not a fan of him to step into that role and keep them afloat. So they're already light on wings. They have one big man in Zach Edey. Outside of that, yuck. I guess Jaren Jackson back to center.
Oh yeah.
And John Morant, I don't know if you guys realize this, even outside of the suspensions and crazy injury last year, John Morant has never played 70 games in his career, not once, because he jumps real high and falls down real hard a lot, and he misses games here or there every single season. If I'm parsing between 6 extremely talented teams, I think Memphis will catch the injury bug more than the others, and that's the only reason I have to lower.
I alluded to this earlier in the stream. I kind of leaked my season's predictions just a little bit in terms of the Memphis Grizzlies and their depth. It's not 2021 or 2022 anymore, where they had the Dylan Brookses, like you said, the Tyus Jones of the world and all that. Like they're brittle. Their front line is thin. It's looking real bleak. And like you said, we already saw 2 of them go down. Marcus Smart, I love his game. Desmond Bane, I love his game. But we saw a Desmond Bane-led team. That is the reason why they got the number 9 overall pick. All right. We see Marcus Smart. There's a reason why the Boston Celtics traded him away and immediately won the NBA champion. So I see this team, and initially during the offseason, I was like, yeah, like this team's ready to be like number 2, number 3, let everyone know who they are, remind the entire league why, this new revitalized version of Memphis Grizzlies are here to be one of the more dominant teams in the 2020s. But I realized that I was a little bit too ahead of myself. And I dove deep into the roster and realized that there's genuine holes and they're just not equipped to even withstand like a playoff series bare minimum. And this is
I don't necessarily agree with that.
I'm just talking about season standings at this point.
I don't think they have holes. It's just like, listen, all these teams are great. They can't withstand injury. And like, look at Phoenix. I've been soft launching this all week. I think they're a top 5 team. I think 5 is actually like low for them. I think they could get to 3 or 4 if everything breaks right and somebody else gets injured, like always happens. Mike Budenholzer has installed an offense that fixes their biggest problems from last year. On top of the offensive philosophy being bad last year, they had no depth. After the Bradley Beal trade, their bench was cobbled together with minimum signings. It was terrible. We had Nazir Little, Keita Beats Diop, Yuta Watanabe, all these guys that are not on the team anymore for clear reasons. And now they have 2 new competent point guards, some new competent bigs, some good defenders on the wing, a lot of pieces at every position that's going to give them a lot of flexibility when everybody's healthy. And the biggest thing is, Bradley Beal can miss a game and it won't fucking matter. You just start Grayson Allen. You just give Royce O'Neal more minutes. You give Monty Morris more minutes. They will not miss a step. Ditto for Devin Booker. Obviously, he's extremely good, so it's a little different. But, if they have those 2 guys, Kevin Durant can sit out. They can still beat a lot of good teams. Like, with 3 stars and good depth and competent bigs, they are the team that I think of this 5 are probably the most able, besides OKC actually, to withstand injury. They're probably second on this list in terms of depth that can have injuries and still win games.
I sit down. I'm a simple man, and I don't like to do too much brain gymnastics. If I don't need to, I see Mike Budenholzer, and I notice that this man likes to take a lot of threes. He likes to lead his team in that category. Look at the Hawks. Look at the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks, prior to the season they signed him, were one of the worst 3-point shooting teams. And they had Giannis at the helm of their team, switched that, implemented an offense that pushed them top 10, I believe, in 3-point attempts. There's no reason why we cannot assume that offense led by KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, all above average 3-point shooters. You can have questions about Bradley Beal if you want. Don't care. But those guys, alongside Grayson Allen, Tyus Jones, who's also very capable, Ryan Dunn, who we talked about on TD3 Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Tap in. We talked about Ryan Dunn and his just insane transformation, looking like new age OG Anunoby with the way he's been pulling threes. It's crazy, and that depth.
They got young juice now. Ryan Dunn, Oso Ighodaro, they have depth down low that's young and has energy and gives them a ceiling if those guys hit. They have a floor and a ceiling to me that it's just going to be a better, more healthy version than what they were last year when they were already the 6th seed with a pretty terrible year, schematically, health-wise, everything. I don't see how they're not better this year.
And if they can hold up their defense through like this offensive change, I think they were 12th last year in defense or 11th. I don't know.
Something of that sort, yeah.
They were genuinely surprising on the end of the floor, and the main reason why they were disappointing was because of their offense. I can't assume that their defense is going to get tremendously worse, and I have to assume that their offense just took another leap with having Tyus in there and also Mike Budenholzer forcing these guys to chuck up threes.
All right, Donovan, go ahead.
No, I just think that you're a traitor. And I just, I'm gonna be down there in Beale Street. I better not see you there. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be me and Memphis. Listen, I think Memphis is gonna be really, really good this year, and I think at least better than 6. I'll stand on it. I'll say that. I think that they're gonna be good, and
See,
I know it's very, very hard. I understand it's hard because after you get past OKC, there's a very real possibility that 2 through 6 is going to be decided by 2 games.
literally, bro,
right?
any order, I don't
Exactly.
care.
Yeah,
Like,
and so
I'm with you,
I understand that, but I look at Memphis and I look at you guys are talking about what they're missing on the front line. What they do have on the line is a dog. They got Ja Morant. All right. They have 12. And Ja Morant, when healthy, is one of the best, not only guards in the league, but he's one of the best players in the league. And I think that having him there is going to be able to push them forward and push them to a really good level. And obviously Jaren Jackson Jr., he's already, dealing with some stuff. But this is the team that has shown the ability to go on runs before. And again, whether that
Question to you, Mr. Smoot.
What's up?
Ja Morant, or might I say Demetrius, is a dog. You are correct. But what happens when that dog hurts his paw or has to take a trip to the veterinarian? He's not going to be there. Who is going to step up to the plate? Who's going to help carry them alive? That's the issue.
Listen, I guess I'm saying this. I'm expecting a fairly healthy season from Ja. And I know
on what
that,
basis?
and so, on what basis? Just listen. Just expect. That's just it. That's all. That's all.
You
I
said
can say.
you think the Memphis Grizzlies are a hell of a lot better than the 6 seed. I fucking agree. I look at this roster and my brain just goes 3 seed. But I look at a lot of teams. There's 6 3 seeds in this conference.
Listen. Once Adam
Let's
Silver
go
goes
to
ahead
the
and
next slide.
fixes
Where
these
does
stupid
everybody
ass
have the
conferences
top
and
6?
moves Memphis to the Eastern Conference, then we're gonna see him routine.
Oh,
2,
100%.
3, first seed for show.
I'm so glad you said
It's just
that.
misplaced
I'm so
right
glad
now.
you said that because the number one thing that came into my mind while I was doing these rankings was some of these Eastern Conference teams need to make trades.
Yes.
We need to get these players into it because I was thinking about the standings and I was thinking about the All-Star ballot. And I was like, what? When you get to De'Aaron Fox and you're just talking about guards in the West, you get 6 deep before
Yeah.
you even get to him. And it's
That's crazy.
crazy. It's wild. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
right.
next 6. Who do you guys got?
All right.
Ooh.
I'll go. So I have OKC at 1, Minnesota at 2, Denver at 3, Memphis at 4, Dallas at 5, Lakers at 6.
Okay.
I
cool.
find Dallas at 5 to be flabbergasting.
No,
You go. Before Donovan
Yes.
blows a gasket, you tell us your
this has bothered me all summer.
No, I had the exact same 6 as you, probably for the first time or second time in TD3 history. OKC 1, Dallas 2, Denver 3, Minnesota, my bad, 4, 5, Phoenix, and the Memphis Grizzlies at number 6. I came to a complete and utter realization about Phoenix, and I fell in love with their potential to put them at 5.
Donovan, why do you hate the Dallas Mavericks? And why are you anti-Luka Doncic, anti-Kyrie
Wow.
Irving, and anti-Texas for that matter?
Horns down!
Why do you hate Bucky? Why do you hate
We
Bucky?
don't do that around here. We don't do that around here.
I'm just
all
kidding.
right?
I ain't mean it. I ain't mean
Let's relax. Let's relax.
Why do you hate HEB?
Hey, listen. First of all, I had a reason, and this is big for you. They
Tap
just
to pay?
Yeah, they just added tap to pay, bro. That's crazy. I've been asking
Wait, they
for that
just
for
added
years. They just so HEB is it's a Texas grocery store for years.
Yeah.
They didn't
All right,
have they didn't have tap to pay. They just added it.
Yeah.
Big upgrade. It's crazy.
They didn't have
but
a
anyways,
tap to pay?
I don't.
Wash,
Yeah, it's
overrated.
wild. Relax. I understand that Dallas made it to the finals. And I'm not saying that this is why you guys believe in them, but I know that a lot of other people are like, oh, they made it to the finals. They're going to be great again. If they weren't playing the Clippers in the first round, I would have had them out in the first round last year. This is a team that now you have a trio of Luka, Kyrie, and Klay. Klay can't guard anybody and it's going to be inconsistent. Kyrie can guard people sometimes and also was very, very up and down in the playoffs. And then you have Luka, who can't guard anybody. And so when we go on like a night-to-night basis, I think that they are going to have some issues defensively. And the one answer that everybody has had is like, all right, well, we'll just put Najee Marshall in the game. And I know that Najee Marshall is really, really good. I don't think that he's going to be the difference between them being like one of the elite defenses in the league and like not. But like I look at I look at the other teams and like I genuinely think Minnesota
Isaac not like a mug right
better.
now.
I genuinely think that the Minnesota is going to be like fantastic. I'm not disrespecting Jokic. We all have Denver at 3. I think Memphis and Ja, and they come back and they show everybody, yeah, we're not really messing around this year. And then you get to Dallas and it's fine that way.
Okay, to boil it down to the final playoff run is hilarious because as soon as they made those trades last year, they played it on the top 2 team in the West pace for the entirety of the season after that. I can only look at right now at the last 15 games of the season, but if I extended it, you get the same results. 12-3 in the last 15 games.
That's
number
great.
1 defense by a fucking mile.
That's
you think
fantastic.
Najee Marshall isn't the difference between a bad defense and elite, but you think Derrick Jones Jr. is? I'm fucking sorry. I love Derrick Jones Jr. What he brought to that team was great. Awesome at defending, fighting over screens. Great job in his role. But if the Dallas Mavericks had an elite defense built in the back of Derrick Jones, somebody should pay his ass $30 million a year. And nobody did because that's not who he is. So we act like they are this crazy different team. You lose a slightly above average defensive forward and you bring in another one. You still have the same bigs. You still have the same guards. They're going to run back essentially the same formula. You replace Klay. You're going to say, oh, but they got to play Klay now. Well, he replaced Tim Hardaway Jr. He didn't replace some goon. They got better. Their defense is going to be
And
just
Klay
as
has
good.
already had 0 for 8s, 0 for 9s, 0
Come
for
on now,
10s
you
in the
cannot say
preseason.
that.
He's
You cannot say
already
that.
had that. And every single year we go with the Dallas Mavericks.
What does Tim Hardaway Jr. had?
A beard, like that's it. But every year with the Mavericks, there's like a 20 to 25 game stretch where you look on the sideline and you're like, yo, is Jason Kidd stupid? Like, what is he doing? Mavs fans hate him for at least a third of the season. Am I 100% confident that Jason Kidd is going to look at last season and say, oh, okay, X, Y, and Z worked. Let's do X, Y, and Z again. No, I think we're going to go through another stretch where you look at the Mavs and you're like, dang, like, we were talking about Jason Kidd potentially being fired last year, and then they make the run. I'm
with you. You keep saying they made the run. It wasn't just like happenstance. There's a clear delineating factor. They got PJ Washington and they got Daniel Gafford. That made the difference.
PJ Washington shot like prime Steph Curry for 6 games, and they
fuck
beat
the playoffs. They were 12-3 in the last 15 games.
And they would have went out in the second freaking round if PJ Washington didn't turn up and somebody wasn't user controlling him and getting green beans every
fuck
single
the
time.
playoffs. Stop talking about the playoffs. They were great in the regular season.
So Donovan, I can
And it
understand
wouldn't have
where you're
amounted
going.
to anything.
We're not talking about the playoffs.
No.
Who cares? We're talking about regular season.
I'm
Yeah,
telling
no,
you
listen,
right
listen.
now, I see them for who they truly are. They
That's
are
not-
a solid
listen.
team in the Western Conference. They are not the second best team in the West. I think that Minnesota, and let's talk about Minnesota, right? I think that Minnesota right now,
Mo, shut up. Don't even try.
you add Dante, a shooter, right? You add Julius Randle, who, and you can already see it coming together. The chemistry between Ant and Julius Randle, that's gonna take some time. But Julius and Dante, their
right.
2-man game is already clicking. It's already going. You add Mr. Shifty off the bench, they are going to be fantastic. And I think, and we will talk about this later. Listen, Anthony Edwards is coming back this year, and Anthony Edwards
He's not playing fair. He's not playing fair.
He's not playing fair. All right.
Just
he
call
has
him
the sliders.
handsome and
He has
let's
the
move on.
sliders up this year. Anthony Edwards
Okay.
is making a jump.
Okay.
And I think that's going to propel them to be
Listen.
the second best team in the conference.
I love the Minnesota Timberwolves as much as anyone, and I gave them their props on TD3 Tuesdays. Tap in 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. Tap the hell in. But I hear your argument for the Dallas Mavericks, but I think you're taking their issues from last season in the postseason, in the NBA Finals specifically, because no one was talking about these issues for real until they saw the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, one of the best teams that you've seen in a long time. You saw those issues, and you transported it up until October, and we're talking about an 82-game season. They're not facing teams like the Boston Celtics. They're not facing OKC every other night. They're going to be facing teams like Sacramento, the Houston Rockets, the San Antonio Spurs. They're going to be facing the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh, Wemby got something for them. I'll tell you that right now. Wemby got something for them.
A lot of those issues that you envision happening, are not going to be exploited as you think. Kyrie Irving doesn't look small unless you put him against Jaylen Brown's, Jason Tatum's, and you have Drew Holiday 6'4" stuff posting him every other night. Then he looks small, yes. But in general, that has been an improvement, especially for him and his Luka. That's been an improvement with this new Luka and Kyrie duo. So I see what you mean, but I think your argument is more so based in the playoffs instead of the regular season.
I'll tell you this.
Okay, quick question. Easy way to state it.
What's up?
Do you think the roster is worse this year than it was last year? Just yes or no?
Maybe. Maybe.
Worse?
Okay. I'm not sure.
Worse?
I'm not sure.
I'm not even saying it's better. I'm not even saying it's better. It's exactly the same. So second part of the question is, do you think post-trade deadline Mavs last year, where they were a top 2 defense in the league and still doing Luka and Kyrie things offensively, do you think that was a fluke?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I don't believe it.
On what basis? Vibes? Like for what?
Yes, on vibes. I don't believe in them. I don't believe in them.
Classic.
Listen, I will put Dallas the highest I can give Dallas. And this, one of the reasons why it was hard for me to put them at 5 is because I do think that Luka is a top 3 player in the world. And it is very hard for me to look at a team that is competent around him and say you aren't going to have home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. I understand that. But OKC, also top 5 player. Denver, Jokic, best player in the world. I think that the Grizzlies are really, really good. I really believe that. And I believe in Minnesota. And so, but I think that Dallas might just be the odd team out. And it's not a linear thing. Now, I will say this though, and I will stand on this 100% for the whole year. Because you said at the beginning of all this, you asked me, why do I hate Dallas? And I'm telling you right now, every single day that I watch the Dallas Mavericks, I will be rooting for them to lose.
What?
Okay? I am hating on the Mavericks this year. That is one of my agendas. I do not want to see them thrive. I do not, but I think that they are still solid. I think that if they played, I think that
all making sense.
I think that if they played Memphis in the first round, they might be able to beat them. But I do not think that they are as good as OKC, Minnesota, or Denver.
Okay. I don't understand the Minnesota part genuinely at all when Minnesota hasn't done anything to address those issues yet. In fact, they maybe got a little bit worse in terms of matchup problems if you're talking about postseason stuff. But in general, I like the Minnesota stuff.
They're good. They're good though. No, Minnesota is going to be great this year. I think I'm kind of as all in on this trade for them as I can be. And I see the vision long term and even short term for them, because you're also getting a version of Julius Randle. You're getting contract year Julius Randle. Yeah. So that's going to give you a boost.
The last time we saw contract year Julius Randle,
all NBA. NBA. Yeah. But,
I agree.
But no, I just believe in the other 4 teams more than that. If I was being real, aside from the hate and all that, I do think that the other 4 teams are just going to be better.
Yeah, 2 through 6 can be any order. So if the Mavs are 4 or 5, I won't be shocked, but I think it'll be because of injury probably. Because that formula is you have 2 good shot blocking bigs down low. Well, Gafford's not necessarily a shot blocking big. We can say that. He's not a great defender, but he's a shot blocker. You got 2 of them down low. Lively's only getting better. He's only getting better with the ball in his hands. Defensively, he's already very good. There's actually a huge move to call him overrated and hate on him on Twitter, which is hilarious to me. I think he's
because of ESPN.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So you have those 2. PJ Washington proved to be incredibly valuable defensively. Still there. Last year, they were good on the perimeter because Luka has size, Derrick Jones Jr. could guard the main ball handler, and Kyrie held his own. Luka still has size. Kyrie will still be able to hold his own. Najee Marshall, Klay Thompson, just as good as Derrick Jones and Tim Hardaway Jr. Quentin Grimes is there to throw into that mix if Klay's having an off night. Also a pretty good defender.
You're aware of him, Donovan. That's your guy. So it's don't act like these bodies just fell off. Exactly.
I mean, just as good as they were second half of last year.
Q did have some struggles in Detroit, but I mean, everybody.
He did.
does.
He was, he was terrible there.
Yeah.
He'll be a lot better catching Luka Doncic standing in the corner. Luka Doncic catching 2 threes. He'll be a lot better.
Yeah. So I'm expecting, but yeah. So Minnesota 2. Denver,
Max Prosper
3.
might finally be able to play. Like I don't see a reason to have
if you're
fall off
if
from
it's
where
just
they were.
if your point in Dallas is so, like rooted off of just hate, which it seems like it is, Donovan, then there's nothing that we can do.
Facts, can't
at
convince
all.
him.
Yeah, exactly. We're just debating a wall at this point in time.
Well, I told you they can go as high as 4 for me.
4. That's 1. You act like that. You said there could be number 2. What do you?
Yeah, you gotta
mean?
fuck off.
That's as high as 4. You have him 5 right now. You're playing with me.
What do you mean? That's higher than what I have him.
Oh my god.
All right, well,
Yeah,
shout out
absolutely.
Denver. I think Denver will be exactly the same as we were last year. I don't think the KCP addition will make a huge difference to the regular season acumen. Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and MPJ are going to do the same thing they do every year.
Yeah.
They will be around this range in the mix from 2 through 4. And yeah,
They
we all
gotta
like
be
Minnesota.
scared. Yeah.
I love
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Their 3-point variance is gonna see a seismic jump in my mind, and also that defense isn't going anywhere. They're gonna bare minimum remain top 3. So that, alongside offense being more breathable, it's gonna go a long way, very long way.
Yeah, the only difference to me is I think, again, back to the withstanding injury thing. I don't think Cat is like a huge amount better than Julius Randle
Yeah,
when
definitely
he's
not.
playing the 4. When he's playing the 4, but he did give them a nice ability to have Rudy Gobert get hurt and just slide Cat to the 5, and you're
Very
pretty much
true.
fine. Now, if Rudy Gobert gets hurt, Naz Reid and Julius Randle front court.
No,
Defensively, I don't know if that's going to be any good. So, just a little bit less of a floor for injury now, but only marginally.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, even Cat at the 5 wasn't that good defensively as well, but I
Sure,
can
but
see your
it's
logic.
better. It's better. You know, it gives a
Nas
little
Reed
more
versus
versatility.
Cat defense. Garbage versus trash.
Yeah, so just moving down slightly. They could be 3 or maybe even 2. I don't think it's crazy.
Why do y'all have? Okay, well, we all have OKC bare minimum number 1, and we haven't touched on them like once at all. And this is
What's to be
time
said?
time to glaze.
Isaiah Hartenstein is going to miss the first about 5 weeks of
Ooh.
the season. He broke his hand yesterday.
Ouch.
So I thought about him. Like, should I adjust anything? No, I shouldn't. They didn't have him last year. They added him for nothing. They are just going to start Chet and then have Jay Williams as the backup center and be perfectly fine through our last year. So I was sitting on a take, like, I think they'll win 65 games and have like a legendary season. That's less likely now. Maybe it'll be like 61, but I think they'll be fine.
yeah, I can agree.
They're winning 70 games.
I was waiting for that.
When they get iHeart back, though, just know OKC is going to be a special team. If you haven't seen us talk about it, go watch the last few preview episodes. We won't regurgitate too much because this is the longest episode. We got to move on. But we fully expect them to be the best team in the West by far and get to the final.
I got all day. What you mean it's a long ass episode? You told me you're waiting 52
We're
weeks,
like an
365
hour and
for
a
this
half in.
moment.
We're like an hour and a half in. Haven't done the East yet. Still have TikTok
Haven't
time.
done awards. This is going to be a 4-hour episode. So I hope you guys are ready because there's a lot to talk about. With that being said, let's move on to the Eastern Conference after all this time. I think there will be a little bit less debate than there was for the West.
The East
But
is the
also, I
East,
don't
man.
know because both of your guys' teams are out there. So maybe we'll get spicy.
All right.
Starting off with the
You're
bottom
first.
5 in the East, I'm going first with the shitters. I had Toronto at 11, Chicago at 12, Detroit at 13, Brooklyn at 14, and Washington at 15. I don't think there's much debate here. This is pretty clearly the hierarchy to me. Maybe you can swap the bottom 2 teams if you think Brooklyn will be legendary ass, but hard to out-ass the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, I think the most important thing in your sector right now in this section is that Detroit is no longer going to be the worst team in the NBA. They are going to see some type of improvement with Tobias
think.
Harris of the world, Jaden Ivey.
So we think.
Hey, please don't say that. Please do not say
They
that.
lose
all right?
33 games in a row this year.
Bickerstaff,
Okay, well,
please
we'll
prove
just tell
them
your
wrong.
guesses.
Okay, interesting.
You guys have essentially the same thing, but Donovan swapped Washington and Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think Brooklyn's going to be so bad. They're going to be awful. It's going to be unwatchable.
They'll be fine at first, though. Ben Simmons, when he's healthy for those 6 games before he gets hurt, he'll give him a little playmaking. Nick Claxton will be
That
there.
At
doesn't
least
mean
like
anything to me.
Brooklyn has adults in the building who've like
Yeah.
done things like Dennis Schroeder, Dorian Finney-Smith
Cam
Jr.,
Johnson.
Cam Johnson. You know, like they have guys who actually play good basketball. Nick Claxton.
They have a team. They
They're
make
just not
sense.
going to win. That's all.
You don't think NBA champions Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole in their
Kyle
second year
Kuzma's
together?
too focused on. Kyle
You
Kuzma's
don't-
not
you
focused
don't
on
think their
basketball
chemistry
like
works?
that. No, Kyle Kuzma has moved on to bigger and better things right now, bro. Like he has a very loving relationship. He opened up a coffee shop in DC. Jordan Poole, you know, he's figuring himself out still, but they got Jonas Valanciunas starting over there.
Okay.
Bilal
Okay, so we
Coulibaly,
don't-
I love his game,
okay,
but
we
he's
don't
not
gotta
going
talk
to
about
make
the bottom
leaps
two teams.
necessarily. So
We
I
don't
think
got to
they're
talk
going
about
to
the
be
bottom
at 14.
two teams. Detroit is Detroit. We all think they'll be better. Chicago is obviously a net for many reasons we talked about. Let's talk about the Raptors real quick before we move on. Do you think why are they still in the bottom 5 and not pushing to play in race?
They have no guys. I have nothing else to say about the Raptors. They're the most boring team in the East to me.
Nice. Astute.
Yeah, they have no guys.
Donovan, do you have any thoughts?
All of this kind of just depends on whether or not, like, I think if you think that Toronto is in the top 10, you think that what RJ did last year was 100% stamped who he's going to be. I think that if you think Quickly is taking a leap, if you think that RJ is taking a leap, and then with Scotty, yes, they can be in the top 10. If one of those two guys are not the best versions of themselves, they would be outside the play-in. And that's kind of what it is. I've seen RJ have stretches, and he played very, very well. I've seen RJ have stretches where he looked really good shooting the ball. I'm not 100% sure that is real. So I'm taking them off the board when it comes to the play-in.
I think
Yeah.
you do it for a full season, then I could see it. If Grady Dick can take
Yeah.
some type of a leap, then okay, maybe they can be 10.
Yeah. Yeah. I think out of all of them, I think Emmanuel Quickly is the one who's like scheduled to take the leap. He did, like, he played well, right? It was okay. But I think that him having a full offseason and like being able to like train to be able to, you know, handle the responsibilities of a league guard, his efficiency should go up this year. And so I think you get that jump from him. But outside of that, we might see some regression from RJ from everybody else. So they're just not really interested in that way. And I'm getting them out of the play-in.
They could get into the 10 range just because, spoiler, the next team above them, the next teams, we have like the Hawks and the Hornets. Wouldn't be shocking if one of those teams disappointed
That's also true.
and fell down. So the Raptors can definitely be in the mix for a play-in race. And if they are, two things. I think RJ's play last year was pretty real. I think mostly because it wasn't just three-point shooting. He was getting to the rim extremely well, which I think was a product of their system being just very different responsibility-wise from what he was doing with the Knicks. So I kind of do expect him to be really good. Quickly, I don't know if I necessarily have the highest ceiling on him compared to some people, but I think the big difference if they're really good is going to be Scotty Barnes. He's honestly one of the more underrated players in the league. You know those charts on Twitter that says production, a skill,
Talent,
are
and
really high, then
recognition.
recognition is really low. That's
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes. He's just incredible, but nobody cares because he plays for the Raptors and they were terrible last year. I can see a world where he just keeps getting better as he has every single year of his career, and maybe he makes us crow a little bit about the Raptors. But I can say those same things about the teams above them, so I'm just taking the bet on the supporting cast being better for those other East teams I mentioned. But the Raptors are going to be in that mix. They'll be like a game or two behind those teams I said.
Show me something.
Cool.
That's-
What's the
that's
next
it.
tier?
Oh, and shout out the Bulls for being fucking terrible. So I don't even want to talk about them.
Wait, shout out to Lonzo Ball. That's all that matters.
Donovan, who are your teams in the East play-in race?
At 7, I have the Indiana Pacers. At 8, I have the Miami Heat. At 9, I have the Charlotte Hornets. And at 10, I have the Atlanta Hawks.
Boo.
Okay, pretty similar to mine. Pacers being in the play-in is interesting. I don't have them there. I have them a little bit higher. Why do you think they're going to fall a little bit?
Well, I think that so they ended up making 6, but the team that I think is gonna swap and get in, I think Philly's gonna be in the top 6. I think
Very fair.
yeah. So I think a majority of the top 6 from the East last year stays. Indiana, they have the ones that I just don't have the most belief in, and I have I just trust the other teams more, and so they'll probably be out of it. Somebody has to be the odd man out, and it's probably going to be
Yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah, I don't really feel
Yeah.
good about putting any of these teams there, but I feel good about Indiana being a top 6 team just because they get a full year with Siakam playing around him. and Tyrese Halliburton hopefully being healthy and getting back to what we saw early in the season. Cross my fingers there. I don't think it's a guarantee we see that level of shot making again, but I hope if we do see anything close to that, then, they're going to be obviously better than a year in which he got injured.
Yeah, I think every single year, some team is bound to disappoint through unforeseen events, whether it be injuries, drama, or just stuff simply just not working out. So if you want to put Indiana there, cool. But for similar reasons like Isaac, I think having a full calendar year of basketball with having Siakam fully ingratiated, Tyrese Halliburton healthy, they still have the depth. You don't know what Benedict Mathurin is going to continue to give you. What's wrong? What happened?
I see the writing on the wall. I see where you guys are going with this. And I think that there's hate coming from both of you for the next two.
No hate. No.
At number 7, I have the Orlando Magic.
Ooh.
At number 8, I have the Atlanta Hawks.
Mo!
At number 9,
Mo!
At number 9, I have the Miami Heat. And at number 10, I have the Charlotte Hornets.
You both have traded.
Listen. The clear indicator here is that me and Isaac feel like there's something severely wrong with the Orlando Magic. Not necessarily wrong, actually. We just think that they're probably going to slightly disappoint. Expectations are a little bit too high. Like you said like 2 weeks ago, Donovan, came out of your mouth. Growth is not linear. We cannot expect the Orlando Magic to continue to climb. There's no given reason. We say their biggest issues last year was shooting and playmaking. You got KCP. No one's out here saying that KCP is like the best shooter in the world. He's good. Very, very, very like solid, but he's not the main issue. Playmaking is that, and it's deeper than that. And they didn't address any of those issues.
I think they're fucking fine. I think they're the same as they were last year. I just think Indiana's going to have a really good regular season. I think we're going to see Andrew Nembhard be empowered and have a bigger role than he did last year, because early in the season last year, they were really trying to get the Benedict Mathurin thing to happen. Didn't quite work out. I think Jarris Walker should be in the rotation and give them a good bench piece there. I think Siakam is going to be better than he was last year with the full offseason to build around him. And I think Halliburton will be better. So I think they'll be slightly better. I don't have any slander for the Magic. I just think they'll be relatively the same as last year. And I think if you had a full season of healthy Pacers, they would have finished higher.
New version of healthy Pacers.
I expected Orlando to be in the play-in from you, Isaac, not Mo. I thought me and Mo were on the same page.
I like Orlando. I'm not even like, there's no ill. I don't like, I'm with Mo on the weaknesses.
You do hate Paolo, though. You are anti-Paolo.
I'm anti people jumping the gun a little bit with him, of like liking the idea of him more than what he currently is at his development. I do think he'll get there. I just think people need to relax and not expect him to be like carrying teams like he's young Braun. But I guess that is the problem, is that they're building as if he is young Braun, which, okay, saying Braun makes it crazier, but like he's young, insert star player, and can really elevate. And I think he'll get there, but I need to see some skill improvements first that I'm not going to necessarily say is all because of spacing. I need to see him really improve the footwork, improve the handle, and get to the rim more often and use his size and not be so mid-range dependent, which I know part of that's the spacing, I've said before. Part of that is just his tendencies he needs to improve on. Need to see the passing continue to get better. You see Franz Wagner's three-point shot. Like, it's just development that I can understand if you assume they'll make a big leap, because it's really easy to say that with young players. Like, when you haven't seen them play in a whole year and all you have is 3 months of thinking what they could transform into, it's real easy to assume everybody will make a leap every year. But I just need to see it first. I don't think the supporting cast has improved enough to facilitate that. I don't think KCP is going to be the difference between the worst spacing in the league and elite spacing that lets Paolo destroy the rim because there's all this space around him. Like, I don't think that's going to be the difference there. So unless those two guys make a jump, like I said they could, I struggle to see why they'll be much better than last year. Whereas with the Pacers, I have a lot of reasons why I can see them getting better in terms of regular season wins.
Hate to see it.
It's nothing against Orlando. I just see that.
No, I would pick I might pick the Pacers in a playoff series over the Pacers. I might pick the Magic in a playoff series over the Pacers. But in terms of regular season wins, again, I think that's going to be like a 1 or 2 game difference. I have Indiana at 6, so I don't really care if you flip them. But I feel safe betting on Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay. I think the interesting thing is Mo having Miami at 7 and at the highest of this group. I feel like we've all written off the black magic of the Miami Heat, and now you have them at the top of this list. Why?
Yeah, I've probably been infected by a little bit of the black magic. Over the last 2 weeks, I've been over here saying like, yeah, this is the final year for the Miami Heat. They're going to implode. And then something in me just like infected me. And I'm just like, Nah, but they still have Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. It always feels like he's on the verge of winning a Defensive Player of the Year award. Jaime Jaquez entering his second year. Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier never had a chance to get acclimated, and I feel like maybe we wrote those two off a little bit too soon because of injuries and also like meshing not two different play styles, two similar play styles. They haven't had the ability to really ingratiate themselves just yet. I want to write them off. I think they're gonna implode still, but it's gonna
You keep
look
ranking people the
differently.
highest and then saying they're gonna implode.
Yeah, because I'm like playing the fences here. I'm playing both sides. That way I can come out on top of winning.
Nice.
Exactly.
Anyways,
So,
I think that Miami is just not that good. I think Jaime Jaquez is a bit overrated. I like him. Shout out my Mexican king. I think people think he's this like insanely promising young player when he's just a good rotation player that I don't see making a big leap from where he was as a rookie, at least in year 2. I think Nikola Jovic is interesting. I don't think he gives them a scoring punch that they desperately need from that spot because they desperately need shooting. I think they brought in Terry Rozier to be that scoring punch. I think it worked horribly. Him and Tyler Hero cannot coexist because for reasons we talked about on the One Question episode, where I brought up the stats that when those two play on the same court at the same time, their defense is abysmal. When one of them on the court without the other, pretty good. They can do the typical Miami Heat things. But last year they showed zero ability to withstand having two small guards out there in Hero and Rozier. And maybe it gets better with time. Again, you can do that whole thing, as mentioned with the young players, where you just convince yourself because you haven't seen it yet that it could be better. It could be the best case scenario.
yeah.
It also just couldn't be. It might not be because maybe they're just two small guards that aren't that good at defense. And maybe Bam Adebayo isn't God and can defend 5 people.
I think
Maybe that's
what
the
it
case.
is, the only way like a backcourt like this can survive is if you have like a top 10 player or maybe 2 top 10 players by your side, similar to what the Lakers have in AD and LeBron. Yeah, like Austin Reeves and D'Lo are not defenders at all. That's not a strong suit. That is one of the last things you talk about when you talk about their game. Same thing applies to Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier. I just don't know if these guys, if Bam and Jimmy Butler have enough juice to supersede offensively and even defensively, really defensively, what these guys don't bring to the game. So it's tough.
Yeah, and then their bench, they don't have a backup point guard, by the way, if anybody didn't know that. Terry Rozier and Tyler Hero are their point guards. Neither of which are really point guards at all, by the way. I don't know if anybody knows that. On their second unit depth chart right now is Alec Burks, Josh Richardson, Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez, and Kella Ware. Hopefully Kella Ware is a star, or otherwise that is a uninspired second unit with zero juice. It's a bunch of good role players who can shoot a little bit, defend a little bit, dribble not a lot of bit. You really need the Rozier and Hero thing to work because those are your only sources of offense outside of Jimmy Butler. I love Bam Adebayo. Not much of a creator, obviously. They just don't have the juice. And I look at someone like Atlanta, who have one spot above them. They could be worse for sure. Atlanta definitely has a lower floor. Things could go terribly there, and they could be out of the play-in. Wouldn't shock any of us. Or Trae Young does Trae Young things. Averages 29
30.
points, 10 assists.
31.
Sure, 30 points, 10 assists, whatever. And then you have 3 long defensive forwards next to him, one of which being Jalen Johnson, who's clearly going to be one of the more improved players this year, making maybe a star leap, maybe averaging 22 points per game, being a great lob threat, defending well. Zachary Ricochet was the number 1 pick for a reason. Dyson Daniels is a way better defender than DeJounte Murray is at this point. You could see a world where you have Trae Young and a bunch of switchy defenders. That's just a better formula with more night-to-night reliability.
Keep going. I love it.
Every time you make me want to stop. And I just need to.
And you
Just tone it
keep
down.
going every single time. I love it.
Oh my God. Hey,
You
yo.
mentioned
Hey,
the
yo.
Hawks
Hey,
before
yo.
I even said
This is why we
anything.
don't talk about the Hawks. That's disgusting.
Man.
Bogdan
What?
Bogdanovic still, who's going to be another really good 6th man because he'll be
And
Howard
you
Moore
keep
when John
going.
Pick on. I'm going for me. I'm looking at you in the eyes. This is a me and you conversation.
No, I'm
like,
right
trying
here.
to
I see
convince
you. My camera's
He's
on
over
your
there,
screen right now.
just over there, just
And my
being
face
weird in
is
the
on
corner.
Yeah.
your screen right now. You see me. I'm an escape.
Okay.
I think the ceiling is higher on the Hawks in a regular season perspective because I think night to night there'll be more consistency.
You cannot
agree-
run.
I
You
agree
cannot
with you.
hide. You're gonna show up with ATL pride. I damn near wanted to put these guys at 7, but I wanted to show some humility and not glaze for once. But yeah, like Donovan said, just like you, I agree with y'all in terms of the versatility and all that with the Atlanta Hawks. I don't need to.
I mean, I
reach
didn't
the
say
same
that.
things. Yeah, you did.
No,
Yeah, you
I do agree that their ceiling is higher than Miami and Charlotte. I've also seen the Hawks be the Hawks for the last like 3-4 years. So they are at the 10 seed until proven otherwise.
Okay.
DeJounte Murray's not walking through those doors. Like, he was the reason they were bad. No, actually, that's a wrong way to phrase it.
Yeah.
That makes it sound like he's terrible. His inability to fit with Trae Young and both of their inability to complement each other, that was the problem.
Yeah.
So removing DeJounte Murray removes that problem. And I think we go back to seeing Trae Young style basketball that worked really well and got them to the conference finals before they moved away with it for DeJounte Murray style basketball.
Fair.
Wasted 2 years of my glorious Trae Young's career. God damn.
Let's talk about Charlotte, because I absolutely love Charlotte, and it pains me to put them at 10. I had to hedge a little bit for them still being Charlotte, and mostly for the fact that LaMelo Ball could still get hurt at any moment. But if they're healthy, I absolutely love the 5-man lineup of LaMelo, Josh Green, Brandon Miller, Redacted, and Mark Williams.
I think
it's gonna be. It fits so well.
Is Trey Man not starting? You don't want that?
No, he's
creation?
an awesome 6-man. He's going to be a bucket off the bench. I love that. Another reason I love them. Like, their team makes
Is it
so much
confirmed that
sense.
Trey Man is coming off the bench though? Because they've been
I
starting.
can
him.
imagine so. I mean, I don't know.
They've been starting him
Nothing's
during
confirmed.
preseason.
What's the
So
what's
this
the
is what I'm
depth? These
saying.
depth charts
Nothing's
are so
confirmed.
weird. Can't even see it.
Nothing's confirmed, but I would assume they get to that point because you need that bench. You need that
Naturally, I'd agree.
defense. You need that defense next to LaMelo. And I just love it. Then off the bench, you have Cody Martin, Grant Williams doing veteran things, Nick Richards being average, Micic, and Trey Mann. That team makes sense. And I think Charles Lee is coming from a smart coaching tree, coming from a Celtics organization. It seems like he's going to prioritize defense and get these guys smacking the ground. They have the personnel, if Mark Williams can stay healthy, to be a competent defense. I think LaMelo Ball is insanely underrated as being a legitimately great offensive engine. Like, if they're healthy, they're going to be good. But it's obviously a big if, so I can't go higher than 10.
Yeah. Every time that we've seen the Hornets make the play-in, they've been 10. They've been in the 10 spot. So it's not, again, Atlanta is there for me just because I need them to fully show me. It's the same thing with Charlotte. I just think that I do think that like LaMelo and the leap from Brandon is going to be great. And so that's why I would put them at 9.
It's fair.
And so like for Mo, I know that he's going to say Trae Young is Trae Young, and then you're going to get the leap from Jalen Johnson. And so you might, like that.
Also
that.
fair.
Yeah, you might like that duo a little bit more. But this is a team that just for years just can't really play defense. And I kind of trust Charlotte a little bit more on that end.
My biggest problem there is I hope they trade Redacted. Not because he needs to be redacted. That reason too, fuck him. But also his defense is terrible. And I really want to see a strong defender there next to LaMelo and Brandon Miller. Yeah. So if they can find a way to get a 4 that's a better defender, I think that'd be great. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to imagine with redacted LaMelo. And Brandon Miller can be a good defender in year 2. I can see that. But he really has to be. Like, he doesn't really have a leeway for being a young guy.
Yeah.
Also, T-John has been shooting the shit out of the ball in the preseason, so I hope that continues.
Yeah, dude, they have depth. They have real depth that I did not foresee coming. And when I think of T-John Salon, I think of like a player who's going to be in the G League just developing. Why put pressure on a 18-year-old French dude or a 19-year-old French dude coming into the league with so many
he's going to
changes,
play.
You know?
He's going to play. He's not going to be in the G League. He's going to play.
Yeah, I know. Initially, I thought he was going to be in the G League. But after showing me his consistent shot form and how he was pulling it with just so much confidence and conviction, I'm just like, all right, yeah, like this dude is here.
Dude, if he's good, if he can play defense and they can trade Redacted and
that's
have
the issue.
Him at the 4, that would be nice. I see a vision.
I do not know if he will be able to get to that point this season, but in general, if that's the game plan next year, okay. Now we're talking 7th seed, 8th seed, Charlotte Hornets for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I debated 8 through 10 so hard because I do think there's a world where Charlotte really blows our minds and is the promising young team. But I also said this last year, and I also looked ridiculous for saying that. So, hedging my bets.
It's okay.
Playing it safe. I like it. Let's roll.
Y'all ready for the top 6?
I've been ready. Born ready.
Okay.
Ward Delane Stevenson.
Mo, who's your 1 through 6?
1 through 6. Number 1, Boston Celtics. 2, New York Knicks. 3, Milwaukee Bucks. 4, Cleveland. 5, Indiana. And 6, the Philadelphia 76ers. Ouch.
Okay.
I would say
not
the
bad.
biggest
not
shift
bad.
in mindset and process for me. Nothing's changed. And like when it comes to 1 through 4, nothing's pretty much changed. 5, I genuinely believe Indiana is just going to continue to progress because time and for all the things that Isaac alluded to earlier in terms of Siakam being there for a full season. Philadelphia, it hurts seeing them there because it was announced during TD3 Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern time, tap in again, that Joel Embiid was not going to play. Exactly. Joel Embiid is not going to play back-to-backs, and they're going to be giving him super special treatment, and he's probably going to miss like a third of the season easily. That hurts.
I don't know about a third, but a good amount.
That hurts. The last season, without Joel Embiid playing out there, Tyrese Maxey-led team I think the record was 16-27. That is nasty.
Not great.
Listen, they do have more depth, which is Paul George. He's not going to be here for at least like the next 2 to 3 weeks or so because he hyperextended his knee.
Well, he might be back for the start of the season. That's still TBD.
Okay, I hope so. But still,
yeah.
If that's there, then okay, I can see them maintaining like 500 level-ish. But at the end of the day, because Joel Embiid's not going to be there, and I'm not sure how Tyrese Maxey is going to be able to handle the full-time responsibilities of being the one on a team, which means like being able to do a combination of a certain level of scoring and like playmaking. I don't know if he's at. He's gotten better at both consistently, especially playmaking, but he needs to be at a certain level. I don't know if he's there just yet.
You got to see the leap, and I believe it can happen. But again, you can believe a lot of shit over the summer. You got to see some of it happen and actually become reality. And I'm comfortable betting on Philly and betting on Tyrese Maxey, but I also moved him down a little bit in my list last second. I'll go ahead and reveal that because I think Paul George might also not play back-to-backs for a while. So yeah, I think I had Boston 1, Knicks 2, Milwaukee 3, Cleveland 4, which that was a difference. I moved Philly down a spot, Philly at 5, and Indiana at 6.
Fair. Okay. I had
two olds that aren't going to play a lot.
Yeah. I had Boston at 1, the Knicks at 2, Cleveland at 3, Milwaukee at 4, Philly at 5, Orlando at 6.
I really want to be optimistic about Cleveland. And I understand probably why you are. I'll let you explain that. I really want to be optimistic. I just struggle to think of any logical reason why I should be other than hope. And I do know that, never mind, because I do have one reason why I should be, which is Darius Garland will be better because he had an injury plague last season. So maybe that's the difference. But outside of that, I feel like I find myself just really hoping that something that we have seen for 2 years and hasn't worked as well as we wanted for 2 years, we're kind of just like hoping it's just better for no real reason, you know?
Yeah. I get it. They've been the 4 seed for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Mind you, they were the 4 seed last year by choice. They intentionally tanked. They intentionally tanked at the end of the season. And so had they won that game, they would have been the 3 seed. Like we've seen this team be very, very good in the regular season. And they've you want to talk about being able to withstand injuries. They can do it. Their issue is that they have 2 versions of the team that work well separately, and they can't put it together. They got better when they got injured last year. Exactly. Like when
they can't withstand injury, they can improve upon injury.
Exactly. When you have D. Mitch and Jared Allen, that works. When you have Garland and Mobley, that works. You put all 4 of them together, and that's where it starts to get dicey in a playoff scenario. But in the regular season, they can really, really win games. And Donovan Mitchell has grown, and he is now a player that is awesome offensively. Like he's obviously like always been great, but his playmaking, his scoring has gone to another level. We're seeing Evan Mobley maybe not take the offensive leaps that everybody wants him to take, but slowly, right? You know, bricks are being put down, the foundation is being built. We're seeing a couple things from him. And then also, again, Darius Garland missed so much time last year and broke his jaw. Like having your jaw or your face broken has to be so uncomfortable. And to now go into this season, be fully healthy, we'll see what happens. I think that Cleveland is going to be very, very good. And with Milwaukee, to be honest, I really wanted to put them at 5, but I'm not going to disrespect Giannis like that. But I do think that they have a lot, like it can go very, very poorly for Milwaukee. Their floor is actually a lot lower than what you may think, even though that they have Dame and Giannis. Because, and I've said it all summer long, Chris Middleton has no good ankles. Brook Lopez is old. Dame, we have no idea what he's going to get. Giannis is getting hurt at the end of every season. Doc Rivers, choke job, artist number 1. Their whole team on their whole start, like they're all just old. They barely have any people who are under the age of 30. And one injury, like it's over. And so I'm not 100%
That's very fair. You convinced me. I like Milwaukee at 3 just because I want to bet on the best case scenario with them. Just I think
fair.
I think there's a good chance they get that, but I recognize the floor is scary. So I'm with you. It's not crazy to put Cleveland 3. It's easy to get clouded by the issues with them and forget that they are always in the 3-4 seed. Like you said, they could have been the 3 if they wanted to. So I was probably blinded a little bit by the issues and forget, oh yeah, this is where they are even with the issues. Yeah. So I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah, I can agree with like both of these takes. Milwaukee's the oldest team in the league. I can understand all your reasons for what they are, but also at the same time too, like, you know, you mentioned Giannis always gets hurt. That's in the postseason. I'm talking about the regular season. Yeah, and if Giannis is on demon time, which I believe he will be, because it almost feels like the NBA, you know, is like operating without Giannis, without acknowledging Giannis is still one of the top 3 best players in the entire planet. And if Damian Lillard is going to have an entire offseason of being the normal Damian Lillard that we've seen over the last 10, 11 years, then I'm going to fairly assume and be optimistic enough that they'll be number 3. But Cleveland's just like that. Like you said, they're consistently stable. They have 2 teams in one. They just don't make sense. They can throw in like a log jam of injuries and they're still going to be all right because the players are all right. So I can agree to that. Agree to that.
So I like that. Philly at 5, same reason. Like on paper, Maxey, PG, and Embiid, it does make sense when you automatically cross off 15 games for Embiid on top of his normal wear and tear. It kind of gets, you know, a little bit dicey. So you have that, and then obviously we talked about Orlando and Indiana. I think that KCP's shooting is going to help Orlando. I'm with you guys. I don't think that like he's not going to come in and then all of a sudden they're like the 2016 Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not going to be open like that, but he will be better. And then also, and also Franz, we talked about on the stream, 6 p.m. Tuesday, tap in, right? I'm buying stock in Franz Wagner. And especially I think that the shooting that he had last year was an outlier to what he normally is. And I'm not asking him to be 38, 39%. Can you get to 33, 34? Because the jump from 28 to 34 will make a big difference for this team. And I think it happens. I think they avoid the play-in.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah. I think them Pacers are a 1-game difference. So I have no issue with the Orlando being 6. Yeah. Of all the times I've hated on things Orlando Magic based, this is the least hatey of them all. I don't have an issue with that at all.
Facts.
Look at you. Character development. I love to see it.
Not really. No, just not get you.
Shut up. Let me give you credit.
I feel the same.
God.
None of those feelings changed. I just think in this instance, 6 and 7 that's the range I should be in.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't got to explain Boston at 1. We damn sure don't got to explain the Knicks at 2. We all know the ridiculous amount of moves they've made. They are playing my GM, flipping players every chance they can. And I think it'll lead to regular season wins because I think the offense will be unfuckwithable. TBD how good the defense will be if that is good enough to really contend with Boston. But for regular season, they're going to blitz teams.
I agree. Does this mean we can tap into the awards?
It does. We can transition past the NBA standing predictions and get over to the award season, which is very interesting this time.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me put this timestamp down real quick.
There we go. This is going to be so interesting because I feel like this MVP race, point blank period, is going to be some of the most entertaining we've seen in a couple of years. Easily.
Yeah. We'll start with MVP, and we'll just reveal all of them at once. For the MVP race, I picked Luka Doncic.
Of course.
I like it. What do you mean by that?
It's his turn.
I just missed.
Notice it.
But okay,
it's his turn.
Fair.
Very
and
fair.
For audio listeners, Mo and Donovan both picked Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. See, I understand why. I'll let you guys explain it, though. We all think OKC will be the 1 seed by easy margin, I think. They're going to destroy the West. Mm-hmm. So my brain also goes to Shai. That means Shai's the MVP. Anytime we see a team come out and go nuts, usually the best player that's averaging 30 gets a good bump in MVP. But I thought about it. I have the Dallas Mavericks as the 2 seed. So if we get down to it, and we had last year happened where Luka Doncic averaged 34 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists damn near, and got 3rd place. You know, it's completely spurned. You look back in history, that's going to look crazy that wasn't a top 2 finish. So I think we're finally going to see the narrative start to build of like, we got to give him one at some point. And I think the narrative at the end of the season could be Shea's so dominant, OKC's so good. Look at their team. It's insane. Luka has them at the 2 seed. We've never seen the Mavericks be a top 3 seed. This is the first time Luka did that. So now what can you possibly say? He has the numbers and the wins. He's doing just as much damn near with a little bit less. Give it to the better player.
Yeah, you explained that perfectly. If I had the Dallas Mavericks as a number 2 seed, I forget what I had them at.
You had them at 2.
Oh yeah, I did have them at 2. So the argument for Luka is similar to what you said. Like, the numbers are just going to be the numbers. They're going to be historical and undoubtable, unquestionable. You know, I just felt like if Shea has the ability to put up similar, like you say, Donovan, 31 point per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, then the league might finally just be like, here, there you go. Such a dominant regular season performance. I think they're gonna clear 62, 63 games. But I'm so flip-flop. I'm 50-50 when it comes to Luka or Shea. I just know that either of these two will win MVP. I don't have my thoughts on anyone else.
How funny is it going to be when the Denver Nuggets are the 2 seed and Nikola Jokic wins it again?
He's
No
not
way.
winning another one. He's not winning.
They're
another
You
one.
said
Tired of
that
that
last
Serbian.
year. I don't know.
They're tired of the
He's like-
Serbian.
He's not going to do it again. He's not going to do it again. Last year,
You can't keep getting away with this.
last
Yeah.
year obviously made up for some wrongs that happened the year before. That's why I can see Luka's MVP as that. I can also see Shea's as that. The Thunder had the number 1 seed last year. Shea averaged 31, 5 and 5. Is a really, really good defender. I can also see a situation where, yes, they are the number 1 seed, but from the national media perspective, how much credit are people actually going to give Jalen Williams? How much credit are people going to, like, I think people are going to give Chet Holmgren all his love, but like, as a team, they are great. Are we going to get to a point where it's like Shea, Chet, and then kind of everybody else, and then you can
Yes.
still have Shea as like the lead guy? He's going to be MVP, all that stuff. So that's why I have Shea as the MVP, because I do think it is
Let
also
me tell you what
kind
the
of
narrative is
like
going to be.
Shea should have been it last year.
Let me tell you what the narrative is going to be. The narrative is going to be Shea is exactly the same as last year. Why are they so great all of a sudden, and why are they the best team? Because they clearly added Caruso and Hartenstein. Not because Shea leveled up. It's going to be pretty clear that Shea is still Shea. And you think you're going to see J-Dub's numbers go up. You're going to see Chet's numbers go up. You're going to see those 2 nasty white boys I mentioned in Caruso and Hartenstein get added. You're going to see, that's a nice jump. Like, everything besides Shea is going to improve on paper. So it's going to be hard to attribute the big jump to him,
All we're
y'all's
doing is
who's y'all's number 2?
Shea?
Shea?
Yeah, mine is Luka. Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
has to be either one of those two. Right now, like when it comes to MVP, we're just going off of what these voters think and what they'll probably do based off of their logic over the last 5 to 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And I almost might flip flop because I'm like, oh yeah, like I did put the Dallas Mavericks at number 2.
Let's go.
This man is
Luka genuinely is gonna have some historical numbers that we've
this man is
last
bunny
time we've
hopping.
seen 33, 34.
He has to win one eventually. Like, he can't just never win one.
Exactly.
He's got to get one eventually.
And if there's something that the media loves to do, they love to discredit top tier players because of how good their team is. We see Jason. I don't know if Jason Tatum will ever get to that point to where he'll be number 1
He
or
did
2
that
in
to
MVP
himself.
talks.
Convo for another day. Convo for another
He did
day.
it to himself.
Because of all those things. So it's like I can see definite avenue where bigger players are like, or guys are like, yeah, I heart Caruso, J-Dub, Chet, this team is stacked, blah, blah, all these picks, even though that isn't relevant to the conversation. People are going to say anything they can in order to shit on Shea and his MVP case. But
I don't think he's going to get shit on. Let's get second place because Luka's just the best player of his generation who hasn't won one yet. And he'll have the record to show for it.
Dark
haters
horse.
are going to have some nasty things to
Dark
say
horse,
about that.
Anthony Edwards.
Exactly.
Anthony Edwards, dark horse.
Exactly.
No, actually, no. Dark horse, Nikola Jokic. I think Nikola Jokic is probably going to be top 3 like he always is. And we're going to look up and people are going to be pissed.
Or
They're like,
Giannis.
why does he always win?
We putting Giannis back in this combo. If we get demon time Giannis, is he back in here?
Sure,
I
for the
have
second seed,
one
maybe.
singular Jason Tatum for you. Dark horse MVP.
Okay.
Keep it. Next defense.
You say keep
defensive
it.
player of the
Donovan
year.
almost took out his AirPod.
DPOY.
Wow.
I have not Victor Wembanyama. Chet Holmgren is going to win DPOY. This is my one hot take of the whole thing. Listen, I think about it. Who wins DPOY every year? the best defender on the best team. The Thunder are going to win like 64 games, and we're going to look up, and they're going to have the best defense by far. How, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, you have Victor Wembanyama on the 11 seed Spurs with the 22nd best defense in the league versus Chet Holmgren, who might average 2.2 blocks instead of 3 on the best defense in the league by far at the number 1 seed because they're the best defense. How do you not give that to Chet Holmgren?
How was Wemby number 2 in
This man is a fake fan.
votes last year? How the hell did he clown at that point? Same reasons apply as to how Wemby was number 2 last year, even though his team was genuinely trash at the end of the
And
board.
who was one? Who was one? The best defender on the best fucking team. That's what it was.
Rudy Gobert.
He got
But
that.
if
He got
Wemby's
that in the
team-
first half of the season.
Chet might get it in the first half of the season. It might be the same exact story. They're going to be the number 1 defense. Him and Caruso are going to be ridiculous. And maybe they'll split votes. I don't know. But I think the big man typically gets the credit. It might be the same thing. We might see another second place. I actually think Wemby's blocks might go down because eventually these guys are going to stop trying. He can't average 3.8 blocks forever. Like, they're going to just, he's going to be a deterrent at that point.
that now.
I mean,
Wait,
the same way.
Surprised.
You see that with every shot blocker because eventually teams realize don't try it against him. It's not gonna go well. So
You know what I mean, yeah.
The only reason he was 2 last year is because the numbers were absolutely ridiculous. I think you'll see that start to go down, which won't make him a worse defender. It'll just mean teams are not trying him. And yeah, the team defense difference is gonna be crazy.
I'll say this: off of Ja Morant alone, Wemby will have Wemby's block will be the same because Ja Morant is going to try him. If Mo's right, the fact that we saw Wemby be second last year with a trash defense, everybody, it felt at the end of the year, and like obviously like the voting played out in a different way, but there was a push for Wemby to be DPOY, and everyone was like, all right, like we can't, like let's not do this to Gobert because everybody understood what we were watching, and on a night-to-night basis, yes, he might not have the blocks. You are going to see enough clips circulate of people running to the rim, see Wemby and say, oh no, let me turn around. You're going to have that highlight reel. His defense is going to be that impactful. It's already, if you look at the odds, the way people are talking about him, it's kind of already stamped. Like it's his to lose at this point. And
What I see is bad money, and I see, dude. I saw a screenshot
There
this morning
is-
from
there is
ESPN
value.
Bet. He
It's
was
like
minus
7.
150. He was minus 150, and everybody else was like plus 1200. It
Already?
was crazy, dude. He's minus odds. Everybody else is plus odds, bro.
No,
I'm not a betting guy like that. I would bet on the guy who is the second best defender of his young generation of players and going to be on the far better team. And obviously, Wemby can win it. I'm not going to be shocked if Wemby wins it for all the reasons you guys are saying. But I think when voting actually comes down to it and you remove the hype and voters behave in more and more, especially with DPOY. DPOY is a statistical ass award these days. Number 1 defense almost always wins it. Last year was Gobert. Was it Marcus Smart was 2 years before that? Who won before Gobert? I forget.
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't remember what the defense was actually. I think his was more of a Wemby case where he had a fuck ton of blocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess those are the 2 ways, right? You either win because you have ridiculous stocks, which you ask Bam Adebayo, that's why he doesn't win, or you're the best defender on the best team, best defense, I should say. Chet might be both. He's also going to have a ton of stocks. He's also going to have the number 1 defense. If Wemby didn't have the ridiculous hype he had, Chet would be the favorite.
You're right. And that's why Wemby has the insane hype. And that's why I'm like, yeah, he might just go ahead and win it and seal it. I've never
You
seen
have hype
someone.
plus production.
And I get it. He might win, but I think voters will care when it comes down to it in real life when they actually are looking down the barrel on their ballots, which are now public, and they have to tell people, I didn't give it to the guy manning the number 1 defense. I gave it to the guy manning the 25 defense.
That's what they're
If
going to
Shea
say.
doesn't win MVP, Chet's not winning DPOY. Either we give
Now it's straight narrative
either we
talk.
give everybody the
That
awards,
makes no sense.
or either we give everybody the awards and we recognize what we're doing here, or we're not doing it.
No,
And
you got it backwards. I think maybe Shea doesn't win the MVP because he has the DPOY on his team, and that's the narrative. Is he has a DPOY?
No.
Luka has Derek Lively. Like,
roll out the red carpet for the Thunder. Let's give Shea the MVP. We can give Chet the DPOY, but I don't think half of that's gonna happen. I think Wemby has it on lock already.
All we're talking about right now is what makes better TV. Really?
here's the thing too, though. People get bored of narratives. If he has it on lock, and then you go through a whole year, that's a lot of time for people to convince themselves otherwise. Because like I understand what you guys are saying. I'm with you. I understand he has it on lock from a narrative
sure.
perspective right now.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of time for that to change and people to talk themselves out of it. I almost feel like it works against them in reality that people are so sure right now. Because like that sets the expectations insanely high. I think people expect like, if he's going to be the DPOY, we expect that. They better be a top 10 defense. They better be so-and-so. And when they're just not, it's going to be a lot of ways to be like, maybe he's overrated defensively.
So number 2 on my DPOY ballot was Chet. If Chet doesn't win it for you, Isaac, who's going to win?
Victor Wembanyama? I mean,
Damn. No.
I get
damn.
what you mean.
No Giannis, even though he has
Gobert.
wins and some shit like that. Gobert.
Gobert might.
No, I don't know.
Gobert might
I don't
get it
know.
again.
I don't know if
He's
they're
not
gonna let
getting
Gobert
it.
get it
He's not
again. I
getting
don't
it.
know.
You know what?
I don't know.
If
He's not getting
Chet doesn't get it, you know who's getting it? Alex Caruso.
Oh hell. Let's not
Alex
do that
Caruso.
again.
All right.
Let's not let a guard
What
win
is-
it again.
One of these guys are. I mean,
Just give
Listen.
it to
if there was going to be a guard to win it, Alex Caruso's not a bad choice.
Let's give it to Giannis and just put this to bed.
There's no way in hell the Bucks have a top 3 defense where Giannis can win it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
What?
next award.
Yeah, it's hype talk. I hate hype. God damn it. It defies all logic.
Rookie of the year. I have
Oh
Zach
my
Edey.
gosh.
Mo has Zachary Ricochet, and Donovan has Zach Edey.
Wow.
You munch.
Okay, so first, you've been talking about some demon Edey. How am I a munch? I'm speaking
Did you see what he
facts.
just did? Did
you see what
he's putting-
Zachary Richardson done?
Do you see Edie putting up 24 and 10 in the preseason?
Preseason, congratulations. Cool beans. You're not going through him on the post. on a
You don't
consistent
even
basis.
like
He's
this
not
guy.
getting those touch. I love these guys. I like Edie. I
don't
also
even
like
like
Zach
beans.
Richardson.
Stop
Now,
it.
Listen, I do not play about my black beans. Don't play with me like that. What? It's
My bad.
necessary on the Chipotle Bowl. But regardless of the
My
fact, I think Zachary Ricochet is going to get, I don't want to say more opportunity, but I think his stat lines are going to be just as even as Edie. But really, I think what's going to be the determining factor is that he's going to have a little bit more opportunities. Points are going to be there. He's not going to have the rebounds, of course, but I think he's going to be the real.
He might average 13
defining-
rebounds.
He might average 14. Who knows at this point in time? But
I think Edey's going to walk in the league as like maybe the best offensive rebounder in the game.
I think he has a chance of doing that for sure. As long as he stays healthy, he has a chance to do that. But in terms of opportunity, I think these two guys are the only answers. I think Reed Shepherd would be in these conversations, but Jalen Green's there and he's not going to get those minutes. And if he does, it's going to be way
Don't
too
care.
late. Exactly. No one's going to care.
Guess what?
So I think this
They
race
don't
belongs to
care.
these two.
No, Reed Shepard's definitely going to be on this ballot too. I think those are the top 3.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I'm not mad at Ricochet. I get it. I mean, he has to take DeAndre Hunter's starting job. I don't know if that's going to be
That
immediate.
too.
That has to happen first. I think Zach Edey's going to start from day one, so that's not really a factor. I think he's going to average 12 points, 12 rebounds. He's big, so probably 2 blocks. He might have just a crazy stat line.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not mad at Edey winning this at all. I can't be mad at it.
5 offensive rebounds a game, just looking like Andre Drummond. And again, keep in mind, he's 23 years old, so I would hope that he's more productive off rip than Zachary Ricochet is.
God damn,
He has,
you're right.
he has a cheat code. He's old. He has a cheat code. He's ready.
Thing about Zach Ricochet is that he plays like he's a little old. He plays like he's 25, 26, and dude just
he's
got
smart.
into the league. Yeah, he's very smart.
he's very
knows how
smart.
to use his body, utilize
Very skinny.
every few pounds that he has, and also the length is there. He's kind of fearless to a certain degree as well. Smart player, and I think if the Hawks are able to surprise anyone in being the 8th seed, and which is a lock to be in the playoffs, which no one had them to be. Well, not lock because playing, but if they're able to make the playoffs, point blank period, there's going to be a lot of buzz for Ricochet and Rookie of the Year. But we can move on.
Okay. Donovan, you have any thoughts?
Nope. No, I do not. Demon Edie's taking it home.
Okay.
Yeah, this is pretty easy. I mean, he's the odds-on favorite, and I think for good reason. He's older, more NBA ready, body-wise, development-wise, and in a position where he has to start from right away.
Yeah. That's
Perfect
fair.
recipe.
That's fair. I can agree with
Okay. 6th man of the year. I have Dante DiVincenzo.
Ooh.
Mo has Isaiah Hartenstein, which I'm assuming you picked that before the injury news
Yeah.
broke. He's now probably not going to play enough games. And then Donovan has Dante DiVincenzo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously
That-
mine is chalked because of the news happening the same day that we recorded it, or before I actually wrote down my list, so it's a tough scene. I would have Dante number 2 though, easy.
Donovan, tell us about Dante. Why is he winning 6th man of the year?
Because he's a sniper. This white man is dangerous, and he's going to bring a dimension to the Timberwolves offense that they didn't really have last year. And like to have this like mobile artillery unit that Dante is, it really is like it's gonna open up the floor. And so whenever you have Julius Randle who's playing down low, and you have Rudy Gobert who is obviously like always close to the basket, and really a non-threat offensively, you have Anthony Edwards handling the ball, trying to get downhill, trying to get to the basket. Who's spacing the floor for him? Mike Conley? Okay. Dante DiVincenzo? Absolutely. You can run so many actions, and again, like I mentioned it earlier, the two-man game between Dante and Julius Randle, you've already seen that open up for threes. You've already seen Dante run off screens and have a two-man game with Anthony Edwards. Him being out there is going to cause a lot of teams to have to pick their poison on the perimeter. And whether
exactly.
Or not, yeah, and whether or not you want to send your resources to Ant going downhill, or send them to Julius down on the block, or leave a 40% three-point shooter wide open.
I love what you said. That's something that Minnesota hasn't had the ability to like do since the Anthony Edwards era has started. Like, they haven't had the ability to be like, yeah, pick your poison, because it's always been D'Lo there or Mike Conley, and D'Lo's inconsistencies has been insane. That's why they got rid of him. And Mike Conley's not like a high octane type of. He has no firepower. He has no nitro to his game. But Dante DiVincenzo has hella fire and nitro to his game. He's a walking flamethrower, ripping him at 8 and 9 attempts per game, knocking down 40%. Like, I love this. I love this pick.
Yeah, he's the easy pick right now. And I feel like sixth man of the year is never actually the easy pick. Like, maybe Dante ends up having to start games because somebody gets hurt. We never actually go chalk with this award, I feel like. But Hartenstein also might start games when he gets back at times, so he's maybe not necessarily my second pick. Somebody always comes out the woodworks. Like, it might be Bogdan Bogdanovic or somebody random.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. He was on fire last year, but he just didn't play any games. Simple as that.
Yeah. I don't know who else could really jump out for this. Like, shit, is Rob Dillingham going to be taking the reins as a rookie?
I don't know.
I doubt it. But hey, Reed Shepherd, maybe the sixth man of the year talks.
Reed Shepherd could be Herb. Well, who's coming off of the bench for the New Orleans Pelicans?
Who knows? But maybe. Hey, listen, if it's
Trey, if it's CJ, yeah. If it's Herb Jones, I don't know. That just sounds so crazy. But there's no room unless they put. If it's someone in New Orleans, just say that. Someone in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Whoever they decide to bench.
Yeah. Okay, we can move on to the next award while Donovan tinkles. Coach of the Year. Clean sweep. We all put Mark Daigneault. I actually don't really think he's going to win it back-to-back. But also looking at the standings of what I predicted, a lot of times this award is won by somebody whose team is so much better than expected. And I didn't really predict any huge jumps in that way. So there's no clear winner to me. So I was like, I'll just go with the guy who's going to be on the coach of the best team.
I feel like the rest of the league, or at least general consensus, doesn't understand still. Maybe my perception is wrong, but I feel like they're underrating how far and away OKC is going to be this year. It's going to be like, yeah.
But I actually think it'll probably be somebody from a surprising team. We just don't know who that surprising team is yet. Like, maybe if the Hornets come out and they're like the 6th seed, maybe it could be Charles Lee.
Okay, or maybe it could be if the Phoenix Suns like really show insane improvement, end up being number 2 seed. Mike Budenholzer is going to run away with that award easily.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's a great pick. Or Ime Udoka if they're also like pushing that 6-7 seed range.
Facts.
I agree. Okay, we're on lockstep.
Last one, most improved player. Hey man, the Hawks are getting shown love today. I have Jalen Johnson. Mo has Jalen Johnson. And Donovan has Emmanuel Quickly.
This is the most hyped 9 seed of all time.
You shut your mouth. Don't ever say that again in your life. The hype is
Imagine
real.
if Mo would have picked Trae Young for MVP. That'd have been hilarious.
Nah, let's relax. I'm not like that. Now, something I will say is that I was kind of dicey on picking Jalen Johnson for MIP because, like, statistically speaking, what history says, what the track record says, I don't make the rules. If you're MIP, that literally means that if you're not an all-star, you're just right there from missing it because there's just simply better, more solidified names on that list. And I don't know if the Hawks would be good enough for Jalen Johnson to be an all-star just yet. Like, there's only so many teams in the entire NBA that can have 2 all-stars on your team, and those teams typically come from top 4 or 5, worst case scenario, like 6 teams. And none of us had them ranked 6. So, but with that being said, I think Jalen Johnson's time will come when it comes to being an all-star, just not this year. And I'm defying what NBA history says, and he'll probably win it this year, even though he could have won it last year, but he just didn't play enough games.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I didn't pick him, is because he already was really, really good last year. And statistically, I don't know if the jump is going to be big enough for him to get there from what he averaged. And if the voters are kind of like, hey, like he should have won it last year, but sucks to suck.
He wasn't in the combos last year like that. We thought that, but he wasn't like in the discourse at all.
He
got hurt. He got hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Early.
So exactly. So people don't really associate him. Like he didn't finish second or anything. So
Yeah.
I don't really see that dinging him at all. He wasn't on the ballot. He wasn't allowed to be. So
Yeah.
I don't really care about that.
Listen, if he can be there, great. I'm not really.
Last
seeing
year,
it like-
he averaged
seeing it like that, though.
16, 9, and 4. I think he
Oh, he's
easily
averaging 20.
get up to like 21, maybe 22,
Yeah.
9, and 5 bare minimum, And those type of numbers aren't at Scotty Barnes type territory that we're talking about right now. Not saying that he's that good just yet, but he can make up a lot of ground. And that's just because his weird ass NBA career so far, where he wasn't getting played at all because we had Milk Dud McMillan, and then just things happening in his NBA career, missing time too. So
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson's gonna
Okay.
be erupting.
And that is the last of our awards.
Oh,
What time is it?
whoa. Hold on, no. Real quick. I have makeshift awards on my list. Last year, I believe we had Scammer of the Year. All right. Now that could be GMs, front offices, players, whatever the case might be. And I believe my Scammer of the Year was someone on the Wizards. Don't necessarily remember.
Probably Jordan
But
Poole.
this year, I have 2 candidates for
Your
Scammer.
scammer of the year. Your scammer of the year last year was Masai Ujiri.
Oh yeah, you're right. I remember I had someone
Charged.
from Masai. It's my brother. What do you mean? So this year's Scammer of the Year.
I'm
All
talking
right.
about my brother though.
2 candidates right here. David Griffin. We've talked about them so many times. Doing all the wrong things, just robbing us from really good basketball. And Chicago Bulls, not front office team, not their coach, but their ticket selling team. I feel so bad for those people paying top-notch prices for like front court seats those season holders. They're getting ripped off, scammed to oblivion to watch Josh Giddey minutes. I feel so
Oh my
bad.
god. And that's Mo Scammer of the Year. Had to get that in there. And now it's time for some crayons.
Crayon eaters, rejoice!
Welcome to TikTok time. Today we're going to begin with something that has been quite topical on the internet. We are going to begin with the ESPN Top 100 list. I don't know if you guys have seen this at all, but every year ESPN ranks the top 100 players in the NBA for the following season. And every year it's fucking dog shit. It's made for engagement bait. And we're going to take the bait. We're going to react to it. I'm going to name an NBA player, and I want you to guess where ESPN ranked them in their top 100 list.
Let's talk about it. Now, the only thing that I know about this list is that they always say that they're projecting for the next year. That's not
Yeah.
like a current ranking. They're saying after next season, this is where it's going to be.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't make it
But
any
it's still trash. It's still trash.
better.
They know what
So
they're
first
doing.
player, Chris Paul. Where do you think they ranked him?
Not on the list.
That would be
He's probably
hilarious.
like very back end, like 90 or something.
I'm going 78.
Oh, you're way too generous. They ranked him at 99.
Ah, I was
Ooh,
close.
I thought I was
close.
squeaking when I said 90. Oh my gosh.
What's even worse is, as you see here, Herb Jones is 97.
No.
First
That has
team
to be a
All-D.
typo. That's a typo. That's a typo.
97.
That has to be a typo. Please tell me it's a typo.
I wish I could.
Oh, damn. 97? In what world is he in 97? Didn't he shoot like 40% from the 3-point line last year?
And he's the best perimeter defender in the NBA. It's ridiculous.
The best that they can offer you. How?
Chris Paul at 99. I don't know. I mean, he's old, but I guess that's fair. I don't know. He's behind Mike Conley, which Mike Conley's definitely better.
Same range. Yeah. Mike Conley's probably better at this point of his career, but same range, whatever. Herb Jones is there? That's what's more jarring to me.
Off to
crazy.
a terrible start.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to see most of the list via these next 5 I'm showing. But-
Okay.
Okay.
Nasty
Second
range.
player, Isaiah Hartenstein.
They either are on his jock like crazy or they disrespecting him. I'm feeling they're on their jock, on his jock. He might be top 40. He might be top 40.
Top 40 is a lot. I will go top 50 though. I'm gonna say he is. We'll go 49.
I'll say 41.
Guys, he's 88.
What? Oh, disrespectful.
He's behind Jaime Jaquez. What are we talking about? This is one of the best role players in the NBA, and he's number 88.
Jaime Jaquez conversation. Who do you think Jaime Jaquez is? He must have a family member working up in that organization.
Congratulations. You have successfully succeeded in making clickbait with this list. This is exactly
stupid.
This is exactly what you wanted to do, and you have succeeded.
You wanted me to call you stupid, and I promise you I will take you up on that. This is dumb as hell.
Mission
Every
accomplished.
single time I have an opportunity to call him stupid, I will do it again. Stupid.
iHeart should be like top 60 probably.
Yeah,
At least.
easily top 60.
At least.
I thought they would glaze, but wow. And Nas Reed 87
I would've.
doesn't feel right.
I would have.
Oh, okay. You didn't need to say it twice. I get it.
Okay, next player. Who else on here? Nas Reed 87. I mean, I think Isaiah Hartenstein's better than Nas Reed. I don't feel like that's a hot take. I understand.
I think
love
they're
Nas
same
Reed.
range, same level.
Hart
I
is
can't
better.
complain. Yeah, it's not
Jaime
like
Jaquez.
monumental, but Jaime, there's a clown in the room. You know that meme? Yeah, there's a clown in the room right now.
The one silly dragon with the 3 heads? Yeah.
Yeah, that is Jaime.
Okay. Shout out Jaime, man, but not number 86.
Yeah,
Or maybe he is 86, but Isaiah Hartenstein damn sure shouldn't be 88 if that's the case.
I agree.
Terrible.
Okay, next player. Zachary Levine.
He hasn't played in forever. And his stock in
Again,
general, league
But this is
wide
projected for next season.
projecting for next
See,
season. Okay.
You have the Bulls bump that he gets because we're just ESPN. They're just gonna cover the Bulls. You have the light skin tax. You have the score tax. He might be like.
He should be
I can
top
see
50.
that. I can see them putting him at like 43.
Okay, let's say 39 for me.
Oh, you guys are so stupid. 74.
Wow.
He is behind Jalen Green, Bradley Beal, Austin Reeves, and Klay Thompson.
He's just behind different versions of himself.
Facts, all of which are worse. Also, why is Jared Allen 73? What the hell?
He's the best player here. This is nasty work.
Are we worse than ESPN? Because we've rated all these guys higher.
74 is outrageous. Zach LaVine deserves criticism to some extent. 74 is disgusting. He is so much better than this.
Since when did we stop respecting buckets in this game? You know what I'm saying? This is
I get
we're
it.
losing,
bucket made 50
we're losing
million.
recipes.
I get it. I get it. We've seen him have multiple serious injuries, miss out on seasons. He's had beef with this team.
That is crazy.
But 74 is nuts shit. It's nuts.
It's disgusting. Outright disgusting.
I don't like
Yeah,
that.
no.
Next one. LaMelo Ball.
Well, let's see. They're ranking everybody else super, super low. I'm gonna say they
Somebody's
put.
got to be high.
I'm actually no. I think that they're disrespecting LaMelo too. We're gonna put LaMelo at 62.
Jesus
I'm sticking
Christ.
with my guns. I think they're going to be 25. He might be 25.
Mo is certainly closer. He is number 50.
Barely
No, he's
closer. Oh
not.
my God.
He is not closer.
I lied.
God damn.
LaMelo Ball is number 50. Right next to Aaron
Aaron
Gordon.
Gordon?
Are you joking? Right
Tingus
next to Aaron
Pingus?
Gordon.
He's in Evan Mobley conversations?
DeMar DeRozan conversations?
I get it. LaMelo Ball is never healthy. But when he is healthy, I don't know how you can look at him next to Aaron
He's an
Gordon and say,
all-star.
These guys are the same.
When he's healthy, he's one of the best 24 players in the world.
And maybe this list is assuming he
Or
misses
best
60
30.
games again, which I guess, go ahead. But feels like it's not in the spirit to assume that.
That's tough.
ESPN, you don't even surprise me anymore. God damn. I don't know what to say. It's not even fun. What are we even doing here right now?
Tingus Pingus 46 feels, I guess that's it's a bit low.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Maybe a little low, but I'm not losing sleep over
It's
it.
fine. I
But
mean,
50?
yeah.
What are we talking about right now? 50?
What are we doing?
Tough time. Next one, Alperen Sengun.
If they don't respect LaMelo, they damn sure don't respect him. We're going to go 84.
I don't know. With
84
LaMelo,
is
no,
absurd.
listen. Now, going
Have
by
we even seen
ESPN's
84?
logic right now, Going by ESPN's logic right now, they disrespected LaMelo, disrespected Zach LaVine, disrespected CP3. All relatively hurt on a consistent basis. Alfred Sengun is on the uprise. They're probably on his jock like crazy.
That's what we thought. That's what we thought with Hartenstein.
He's top 30.
He's number 54.
Oh, ESPN. I try to make sense for you every time, you let me down.
Yo, RJ Barrett is ahead of Sengun.
See,
At what?
3 years ago, this is exactly what I would have been arguing as well.
Think about the old days.
They're the old days.
They're the old days.
They're the old days. I understand.
Sengun is so much better than Barrett. This is outrageous.
So you
Which is a common theme here. These are all outrageous.
Like, there's
Is
no
there anybody on this
consistency in any of these
list
arguments.
that is right where they're supposed to be?
OG Anunoby, number 51. Very
Sure.
fair. There you go. He can
Considering
be
his
51.
injury concern and all that, yeah, sure, put him at 51. Aaron Gordon, sure,
Franz
put him
Wagner?
at 49.
Sure.
Franz,
And
yeah.
Franz Wagner, 52. Why not? And everybody else around that, batshit crazy.
54, Alfred Sengun.
Tough.
Oh my gosh.
Disrespectful. Trae Young.
Mo,
Oh, brother.
you got it. Take your guess.
He should be top 30 bare minimum. They might put him at like 60. They might put him at 60.
Okay,
60
I'm
is
not doing that.
Relax.
It's
They put him at
ESPN.
39. They put him at 39.
Put him at 37. You were very close.
Yeah, I know.
This,
what
this
type
is
of
too
time they're
low.
on.
This is too low. It's not, I mean, it's not the craziest one we've seen so far. But
Drew?
it's definitely too low.
Drew
Trae Young should be
Holiday,
closer to number 30.
Scotty
Holiday?
Closer to number
Barnes,
30.
Rudy?
Gobert, Larry.
Lowry?
Markkanen. I love Lowry, but let's be real. I
Rudy?
love Lowry so much. Rudy!
Rudy
You ever watch The Proud Family? He has a daughter. He's always like, Trudy! God damn it, Rudy.
That's a pretty good impression.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trae Young should be closer to number 30. 37 is a bit low.
Yeah, this is not the worst. This is probably the best ranking so far. I hate to say it too.
Wow. Paolo Banchero.
22.
Damn.
They probably have him high. There's no reason to put him lower. Like, this is just like he's been on the uprise, has done nothing in his game to disappoint.
I'll
He's
go
probably
27.
25.
Actually. I'll go 27.
He's 24.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Ahead of
Okay.
Zion Williamson. Ahead of De'Aaron Fox. Ahead of Jimmy Butler. And ahead of Sabonis.
Because of Zion's inconsistencies of health, I can understand an argument.
Yeah, if you're projecting and you assume Zion keeps getting hurt and Paolo keeps getting better, I get how they got here. But I'm still going to rank Zion ahead of him, I think.
Why the hell is Sabonis here? Who invited him to the party? Get him out of here.
Sabonis at 20. That's fair. 29 is a fair spot for
Get
him.
him out.
That's,
Who invited him?
that's about where he's at.
Who
I'll put him at
invited
like
this guy?
32, maybe.
Who invited him to the party? He don't belong.
24 is a bit high for Paolo, but it's projection, so I could see by the end of the year he's 24.
It's not bad. I think it's all right. It's all right. I like it
Yeah.
for now.
It's a fair projection.
Give him another year to improve on that jumper and his shot diet too.
Yeah,
It could be higher.
It's optimistic, but not too much so.
Yeah.
Next one, Ja Morant.
Oh no, those corporate guys hate him. They hate
He's
him.
a brand
to his
risk.
core.
They gotta rank him low to show how down they are with PC.
Yeah,
30,
it's like
31.
Mm.
They probably have him outside the top 30.
I don't think they have him at 31. They probably would say he's better than Trae Young, and Trae Young's 37. They probably have him at like 29, maybe. No, not 29.
Number 20,
20. Ooh.
Whoa.
Okay, actually,
Tyrese
Still
Maxey is
respect.
ahead of Ja Morant.
He's the
Tyrese
guy?
Maxey is ahead of Ja Morant.
Tyrese Halliburton is ahead of John Morant too.
I mean, I guess maybe if he shoots like in-season tournament Tyrese Halliburton, but Maxey over Ja. Come on, I love Maxey, but let's be serious.
Ja, I need you to gritty over the entire league this year. Please.
No
Dance
controversy,
on
just
their
dunks.
face.
Remind them. I think he should be closer to 15, maybe closer to 10 if you're being optimistic. 20 is a bit low.
20 is disgusting work. There's no reason to have a conversation with Kawhi and John Morant. You can't assume that Kawhi is going to be healthy. That's ridiculous to do.
Is Kawhi top 25? Nope.
Can't be.
Is he going to play 25 games?
Yeah, that's the conversation.
Yeah, I don't
Kawhi
know.
top 50? You think Kawhi or Şengün right now?
I know
Whoever's
Kawhi's not going
showing
to play
up
50
in
games, tell you that.
Yeah, whoever's showing up.
All right, next one. Devin Booker.
I think he's
You know
gonna
what?
be 12.
13.
Mm.
Look-
Okay.
good job.
Okay.
Look at you.
That's about where I'd rank him, 12 or so.
Yeah.
They did 15.
Wow.
Jaylen
Jalen
Brown had
Brown
him.
better than Devin Booker, and no
Hey, man.
universe in hell is this accurate.
That
Jalen
Finals
Brown.
MVP buzz. It's not crazy, but
It's
Booker's better
crazy.
and has always been better.
Time
He's
out.
always been better. Jalen Brown's never been better a day in his life than Devin Booker. This is crazy.
A day in his life, kind of crazy. Halliburton over D. Mitch, though, I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
I don't like that.
But Booker's
They
closer to
seem-
10 than 15.
This Finals MVP is giving Jalen Brown so much grace, and I like it. I'm the biggest Jalen Brown fan. It's the next guy next to me. But over Devin Booker, no one's ever thought of Jalen Brown as the best shooting guard in the NBA. Devin Booker has had that title for the last few years, 4 or 5 years.
Except Celtics fans. Celtics fans will tell you he's been that for years.
Exactly. Listen, Jalen Brown.
They don't
he's had a-
count.
He's had a very successful offseason, to say the least.
Facts.
Tell me
Good
how.
PR right now.
How so?
Next player,
Same thing.
Victor Wembanyama.
7.
Damn.
Nah, I don't
10.
know. I don't know. Probably 12.
10.
Split the difference. He is number 11.
Okay.
Ahead of Anthony Davis.
Wow.
And ahead of Jalen Brunson.
Wow. Jalen Brunson I can understand. But Anthony Davis.
The AD one is kind of nasty.
Steep.
Yeah, AD should be like, if Vic's 11, I'd put AD at 10. I think he'll still be slightly better this year.
But hey,
That's pretty steep.
Brunson over AD. I'm not mad at it. Not upset. Good job, ESPN.
I don't love it.
Good job, ESPN.
I'm not a fan.
Just
Do
say,
not
just
sign
say
me
you
up
hate
next
the
to
truth.
this. I hate lies.
I don't know. Is 11 a bit much? Is that a bit of a big glaze?
If you're projecting best case scenario for Vic, no.
You got it.
But like it has to happen. It be,
Yeah,
you
he
know,
better.
like,
He better win DPOY, and he better drag him into a 7 seed if he's the 11th best player in the world.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Joel Embiid.
Get this man out of my top 5. I
He's
don't
probably
want to
a
see
7.
him anywhere near my top 5. I will give him credit, some kind of credit. I'll put him at 8.
Okay.
Wow, the first one you guys get right. He is number 8 on this list.
Oh,
Okay. That's 8 is insane. I understand he doesn't play. He's had real injury issues. Doesn't show up
I'm okay with that.
for the playoffs. You probably rank him at 8 in real life. Of course you're okay with that. You're in the
Of
same boat as
course.
ASPM. You
Of
have a
course.
problem. You both.
I
have a
no. I have a question though. Why is everybody's picture clear and he has the blurry one?
I hate him.
Why'd you give him that?
No, I mean, listen. Joel Embiid is so much better than the 8th player in the world. This is ridiculous.
Is he?
But I mean, if he's not going to play games, if they want to ding him for that, I guess. But in terms of when they're on the court, obviously he's a top 5 player in the world. Like, it's ridiculous to think otherwise. But the games played might matter, and I guess that's fair.
Why is Tatum ahead of Curry and LeBron? It's kind of crazy if you ask me. But he's an NBA
Maybe
champ.
they think. I
I'll
guess they
bet
think
an
this is
eye.
the year. I guess they think this is the year where the age starts to hurt these guys more. I don't know.
Never in a million years is Curry and LeBron going to be worse than Tatum. Sorry.
I mean, eventually they're going to be old. I don't know. It's going to happen eventually.
They could be 80. I'm still
Oh my
taking
God.
them over Jason Tatum.
Gawk, 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 gawk.
No, dog. Speaking facts.
I'm just listen. Mo's just telling you what the world thinks. We saw what happened in the Olympics. World basketball, best players in the world. Jason Tatum can't get on the floor.
And then obviously number 2 is Luka, and number 1 is Nikola Jokic. That's the top of their list.
Okay. 2.
Okay.
Okay. This top 4 is the most accurate that they've probably had. I like the top 4.
Yeah, top 4 is fine. But Joel Embiid has to be 5 to me still. I know the injury concerns are a thing. If they weren't, he would be like top 3. 5 is still accounting for that. 8 is a bit much for me.
He's lucky. Yabusele is on his team now, so he can't beat him in the NBA too.
Oh my gosh.
my God.
Yabusele conversations. Shout out to him though.
Shameful.
what
Next thing we're
happens.
going to do.
You foul bait in the Olympics.
Oh my God.
Sucks us up.
Next thing we're going to do. I'm going to show you guys some random ass NBA jerseys. And you guys are going to try to guess who they belong to. Which player's jersey is this?
Do we know
All right.
ball? Okay.
Let's do it.
Do you know obscure jersey ball? That's the answer. That's the question here.
Are
This is
we
nostalgia?
premium frat boys in the world? Let's see. Let's find out.
First off, whose jersey is this?
See, this is iconic.
Shout out to Derrick Rose. I love it. I remember that 50-point game. Nice. I love it. Real hoops. Let's talk about it.
This is Derrick Rose. That one was easy.
I almost started crying just now, man. What? Come on now.
I had to start with the layup. I thought maybe the jersey being a throwback would throw you off, but it does say Fitbit, so I guess that was a bad one.
Oh, it does.
It does have the Nike and it does have the ad. It's very recent.
What? They need to bring these jerseys back so bad. I love them.
They have so many good throwbacks, man.
Why does the
Quality.
team have to suck? Historically.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not currently. Next team, next player. Whose jersey is this?
Ew. I know this one. Do you know, Donovan?
This is stinky. I think I do, but you got it. Lob.
Is this Tobias Harris?
No, this is not Tobias Harris.
Dang, that's all.
Damn. Okay, if it's not Tobias Harris, is this Blake Griffin?
This is not Blake Griffin.
Okay,
No,
not Blake
I-
Griffin.
34? I have no idea who this is.
Is this John Lure?
Now you guys are cooked. This is LiAngelo Ball.
Who would know this?
You're a ball knower.
You're a true sicko
You're
if you have
A
nasty
real
guy.
ball knower.
I will say-
LiAngelo
Ball brothers.
Ball.
This has to be going crazy at Delta Chi parties. This is going up.
An elite throwback.
If I
Do you
see
think do you think LeVar has this jersey hanging? Or do you think he doesn't
Definitely.
care about it?
It's not worthy of a frame. There's just 3 Lonzo jerseys from the different teams instead.
Yeah.
no, yeah, no.
Only real big
Okay.
ballers play 10 games in the league.
Whose jersey is this?
I
Oh,
got
see,
this
we
in
know
a
this.
heartbeat.
We know
Yep.
this.
This is one of the OGs of the game. All right, someone who was a little bit ahead of his time. This is P. Millie, Paul Millsap.
This is not Paul Millsap. You're so confident. It's not Paul Millsap.
What?
Paul Millsap didn't wear number 4.
I don't know. Did he? This isn't Paul Millsap.
Is this
Oh shit!
is that this year? And is this Russell Westbrook?
This is Russell Westbrook.
See, he tricked you. He tricked you. This was P. Millie's number though. Let's not
He wore number
disrespect.
4. He wore number 4. I was not wrong.
Show the camera.
but I was not right.
Did he wear number 4 with an Ibotta sponsorship on the top right? I don't think so.
No, it was Western Union. Damn it! Damn.
2 L's in a row. You guys suck.
Damn.
Whose jersey is this?
Oh, this is don't
Oh.
disrespect. This is 3 to the dome, Carmelo Anthony.
There we
This is
go.
Carmelo Anthony. Hey, do it again.
God damn, I
He's
hear
poking
the
the
thud. Shit.
He's poking the shit out of his head.
Yeah, yo, you don't need
Understand? I
like a
saw this man
thumbcast
play in
for your
person.
ass.
I've seen this jersey with my own 2 eyes. It's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, I know he
Wow.
had the meanest 12 points.
That
Yo,
one
I
play,
actually think he did have 12 points.
Of course he did.
shit, that one play where he was,
Nah, he
just
was
did
hooping, though.
nothing but
He
straight
was hooping,
jab
though.
steps to Zion Williamson and was able to score
He
on him.
was hooping.
That's hoops. That's
Okay,
pure ball.
next one. Whose jersey is this?
Ooh,
Hell
see,
no.
I know this. This specific Cleveland Cavaliers jersey, I bought this one in a LeBron James. This was my first jersey that I bought with my own money. And this year, 33, that's the year that washed Shaquille O'Neal played on the team.
That's my only guess.
This is
Ew.
Cavs Shaq. Hardwood classic.
I love this
33
jersey.
is just such a wide back number, bro. Like,
You look how big
O'Neal,
that number is on the
33. Like, god damn, you know how you know how I to look like to wear that jersey? Like, ooh man,
There's
you
a
going
pound mandate.
Yeah.
If you have this jersey, you are wearing this jersey in the pool. Like that's what you're at.
That's so accurate.
What the fuck? Oh my god.
You're in it to a cookout specifically, bro. This is so nasty.
I don't know, you're just double fisting dogs.
Yeah, top of your life, dog.
Okay, next one. Who is this player?
See, you helped us out. because nobody's number is 08. This is the draft year. And so this is also a player that we saw earlier. This is Russell Westbrook.
How did you get that one? This is Russell Westbrook. He never actually wore a Sonics jersey, so I thought it was going to be a good trick, but you got it.
No.
He's a ball knower. He's a noticer.
Gives it. I've never seen an 08, 01. What if the league started doing that?
That'd be ugly.
Yeah.
They have the
gave it
double
away 'cause
zeros.
that was the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even recognize that. I was wondering why it was an 8. Damn. Thought I got you guys. Whose jersey is this?
Be careful. Be careful. Right? You might think that this is a Men Thompson. However,
I got it. Is
Go.
this
Okay.
former DC legend John Wall?
This is John Wall. Okay.
Shout out to the 919. Oh my gosh.
Shout out to those forgettable 50 games he was in Houston. That was not a fun time.
I know he was so pissed when James Harden demanded a trade, thinking he was gonna be
Right after he got there.
Yeah,
Yep.
nah.
I thought
Damn,
it was
bro.
us.
Yeah. Thought it was up, bruh. It was them, Boogie, ew. They thought they were
He's like, bro, I got to deal with Steven Silas all year. He's like, no, I'm going home.
It's just him and Victor Oladipo cooking.
Scary times.
Boys are outside.
Bad year, man. Whose jersey is this?
Ooh.
Green with the piss on it. I don't know who this is, and I don't want to know
Ew.
who this is.
This is
This is nasty.
This is Gordon Hayward.
Is it?
It is.
Yes.
Ew. I'm just so sad that I have to see this jersey in my face.
I actually like these. These actually weren't too bad.
I mean,
They're
I
all
don't
right.
like
They look
these
like
at all.
Utah Jazz jerseys.
They look like not even Utah Jazz. I'm thinking like Green Bay Packers jerseys. Ew. Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
This is basketball.
Look at you making a football reference.
First time in 2-3 history.
Look at that.
It's a little bit light work. That's it.
One of the 4 teams he knows. Next one. Whose jersey is this?
See, the easy answer would be LeBron. But I think that this is actually Mr. Born Ready Lance Stevenson.
Oh my God, I'm surprised you got that one. This is
You're
Lance
a nasty
Stevenson.
guy for that. How do you know that? How?
He crossed
I mean,
up
it's
Jeff
kind of
Green
iconic. He did, and he did the
In
air
this
guitar
jersey.
thing too.
with the air guitar with he got game 13s on. Iconic play.
Wow, that play
For an
meant something
iconic
for your
man.
life. Wow. Okay.
I love he got game 13s. They're amazing.
Okay.
That's random. Whose jersey is this?
See, got the
I don't know.
got the
Mario
swish on it.
Hezonja? Who the hell is this?
Ew, no. The only memory I have of Mario Hezonja in the Knicks jersey is when he blocked LeBron's shot at the buzzer.
Yeah.
First year.
Yeah.
Knicks won like
eight.
42 games that year, if that.
Eight.
This is Courtney Lee. Who the hell is 8?
I can't remember.
Courtney Lee. Wow, that's a
I
name.
can't remember if they had went to Nike by this point. I don't think
It was
so.
Kemba Walker.
This is Kemba Walker. There we go.
Ew. Yeah.
Finally, you get one.
Shout out to
Getting
Kemba
carried.
Walker, man. He's a
Probably freaking-
assistant coach for the Hornets. Shout out to him.
That's fire. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And that's the last one. Okay, you guys know a little bit of Jersey ball. You guys did a decent job.
Okay.
I never
You
get
did
the
pretty
Knicks
good.
Yep. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about LaMelo Ball. You know, we're gonna continue a series we've been doing where we're gonna gauge how good he's gonna be compared to the rest of the league by comparing him to 5 levels of other point guards.
Okay.
So real simple. I'm gonna name an NBA player. You tell me who's gonna be better, him or LaMelo Ball. First
start.
up, is LaMelo gonna be better than D'Angelo Russell this season?
He's been
100%.
better than D'Angelo Russell since he came into the league day one. Yes, he is.
He was born better.
Born better since he was a fetus. I'm just kidding. So weird.
Okay, that's an easy one. Again, as always, gotta start off easy. Level 2, Cade Cunningham.
This is real conversations.
See, the only thing that would determine if Cade is better is if LaMelo doesn't play. But if LaMelo plays, he will be better.
Yeah, they both have a lot of promise and a lot of potential and a lot of questions. I've seen LaMelo answer those questions when he can actually play. Still TBD on Cade if he's going to actually get better.
Yeah.
LaMelo it is. I agree.
Man, I hope he plays more than 40 games.
LaMelo, please double tape your ankles. Do whatever you need.
Drink some milk.
Please.
And sure, please let's do it.
Fair life, core power. Level 3. Is he better than DeJounte Murray?
Yeah, he got that.
Easily.
He got that.
Easily.
I actually wish you would have flipped them.
I mean, this is where you got to think about it because the games played. DeJounte's not amazing, but he's good. He's safe. He's reliable. He'll play 70 games a year.
If LaMelo Ball doesn't play, he's doing something productive, which is giving me the number 1 overall pick or number 2 overall pick. Brandon Miller. If DeJounte Murray plays, he's not getting me to the promised land, and he's also not getting me like a top tier
Cooper Flag.
pick. Give me LaMelo Ball. I need LaMelo.
Yeah, I mean, when he's on the court, LaMelo is just way more dynamic offensively. If DeJounte Murray was still the elite defender he was when he was young, then I would give it to him maybe. But the defense hasn't really been there.
Yeah, no, he did improve his 3-point shot, but the defense 7 attempts per game on 30% don't move you, it moves me. I'm so
On
many,
30?
bro. 38,
3-0?
38,
Oh,
38.
I thought you said 30.
Nah.
Okay, we can give him that one. It's going to get dicey though now because the games played is going to matter. Level 4, De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox, you got me.
De'Aaron Fox, you got it.
You might get me. Wait, hold on.
Even
let
if
me think about
LaMelo's
it.
healthy, I don't know. He has to get a lot better defensively before I can give him a nod over De'Aaron Fox, who's just guaranteed 25 points per game, guaranteed decent passer, gonna lead a good offense. LaMelo's got to prove it still.
Oh, man. LaMelo Ball at his absolute peak, the best version of LaMelo Ball is genuinely better. We just have yet to see it yet. Even though he's made an all-star game and he, was fairly healthy for a singular season, I need more proof because De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, in theory, he could be
bulletproof.
better. But again, the health is where this comes in because he hasn't been able to develop that way. So it's kind of irrelevant what he could be. We know De'Aaron Fox is that right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's De'Aaron Fox. It's no question.
Damn. And there you go. LaMelo, you lose at level 4. You couldn't make the run to level 5. Even if you did, John Morant was waiting for you.
Oh, yeah.
And he was in a...
You're getting done up by John Morant.
Bang.
Yeah, no. It's not even close.
Mm-mm.
John Wick.
But there we go. LaMelo gets all the way to level 4. Not bad. Could have been worse. You guys could have hated more on the injury luck, but that's not bad. Next thing we're going to do. I'm going to name an NBA player, and I want you to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how much pressure they're under this season.
Okay.
I'm sitting up. This is
You ready to hate?
this is exactly what I signed up for.
Yeah. Who's going to be criticized by the media if they fail the most, Who's got to prove it to Donovan?
Prove it to
The
Don.
arbiter of
Because I'll be waiting.
You gonna be in their dreams like Freddy Krueger or what?
9 dreams. I'll be in the DMs.
Oh,
Right?
God.
Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you make that shot? I'll be waiting.
I know Karl Anthony Towns hates to see a Donovan clip coming. Okay. First off,
Be worried.
Joel Embiid.
Oh, 10. 10 out of 10 pressure. You've already started the season saying you're not going to play back-to-backs. Fine. Miss 15 games off rip. I've seen you year after year. No playoff run, choking in the playoffs. Now you finally have another big 3. I need to see something. The world needs to see something this year. It's 10 out of 10 pressure.
I don't think it's possible to have more pressure than Joel Embiid. Like, he has so much pressure that he feels that he's like, I don't even want to win the MVP. I'm over it. Like, it just adds more pressure. You can have it. That says a lot.
Facts. This dude's talking about he already lost like 25 pounds and he wants to lose even more weight. He might gain body dysmorphia at this point, at this rate, because he already
Oh my
looks slimmer than me.
God.
Like, goddamn, how much weight you need to lose, bro? Just don't play basketball for a little bit. Be cool. Go ahead and get your training and all that other stuff in. He definitely has it's either a 9 or a 10 because I can name a very few amount of superstars who've been put in better positions than Joel Embiid, just in terms of consistently.
His
their front
organization
office
has
doing
given
the
him a
right
chance.
thing, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of chances.
That
That's
gold
an
medal
easy
not going to save you.
Number 2, Victor Wembanyama.
Probably
Now,
like a
this may
6?
seem
Like
this
a
may
6?
seem like not a lot because he's still young and the team isn't expected to do anything. But he's being hyped as like he's going to be a top 12 player this year. If he doesn't succeed and hit that mark, there's going to be some combos.
Yeah, that's why I'll say 6. He's not like a fully formed player, and everyone still understands that like he still has things that he can improve on, and he is a year 2 player. But at the same time, for the last 3 years before he even got into the league, everybody was already like, yeah, Victor is the guy. So
Yeah, if people can-
there is some pressure on him to be the guy now.
If people can get on a mic and say you're gonna be one of the greatest players of all time, and they're not considered crazy, you have pressure. It's gonna be a thing.
I agree.
7.
At 10. Whoa, well, not 10. I lied. Yeah, I'll probably go 5 or 6. Because even if he has like a sophomore slump, which is pretty normal.
No.
I think
He
he's
can't
on-
have a sophomore slump.
He can't.
cannot have a
Really?
sophomore slump.
He
No,
can't,
no,
Really?
no.
He can't.
Wow. So you're selling
I better
some
not
Wemby
see.
stock.
I better not see a lot of 25% from the field games.
Okay.
That
okay.
can't happen. They gonna start
Okay.
calling him a false prophet. It's gonna be crazy.
That's crazy. That's how you view Wemby? Golly, it's just basketball.
I'm saying
Damn.
that's what they gonna say.
Yeah, he better be the prince who was promised. I'll tell you that. Carl Anthony Towns.
Oh, like a 9 out of 10.
It's New York.
Yeah,
That's the only
9.5.
reason why it's 9,
Yeah.
bro.
I would say 10, but he's not the best player, so he can't have a 10 out of
Exactly.
10. But under New York media, with the the reputation he has defensively, he better lock the fuck in, or those radio hosts are gonna let him hear it. Mad Dog Russo is gonna let him hear it.
Mike Francesa is ready. I'm telling you right now. Listen, they broke up a team that had the best vibes in the league coming into the season. And if they traded it all away for Karl Anthony Towns to upgrade at the center position, it is the first time in like 20 years that the Knicks actually have title hopes. And it rests on the shoulders of Big Purr and how he fits into this team.
They're
It's a
about
lot
to
of
throw
pressure.
Tim's at his window. He's gonna be under pressure.
No, yeah. There's no such thing as there's no such thing as disappearing. You could do that in Minnesota. Not too many eyes were there until Anthony Edwards popped on the scene. But in New York, bro, them junkies gonna be on your back. Everybody gonna be on your back. People at the bodega gonna be on your back. They're gonna be talking about cat this, cat that. Cat, I need you to respond. Cat,
Nowhere to
we need
hide.
you. Big Purr, we see you.
JJ Redick.
Probably
Ooh,
10.
that's good.
It's LA and he's a coach and the whole LeBron thing and Bronny thing. For sure.
I would say-
Being a
It's
Lake-
10.
I'll say
If
10
you're a
too.
Lakers coach, you're like a Looney Tunes character. There's like an anvil floating above your head at all times, waiting to get the rope snipped and drop on your fucking head. There's always pressure.
Yeah,
Constantly.
I'll say 10 too. Yeah, because
Piano's gonna fall on his forehead.
the whole thing behind JJ and how he presented himself, and it always came across like he knows that like what the smart thing to do. He looks at the game from like an analytical perspective, and also he just knows ball. If you come into the Lakers and it looks like you don't know ball, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Okay. Anthony Edwards.
It's
5.
about that time. No, it's about that time. It's like 8.
What?
It's like 8.
Bro, everybody has pressure to you. 8? What pressure does he have? What does he have to do? What does he
It's a
have to
very
prove?
pressurized. I promise you, we just got the season where everybody thought that the Timberwolves were going to be
Yeah.
bad. Now they're good out of nowhere. So much aura. I promise
do it
you.
again.
I promise you, if the Wolves start slow, everything that you like about Anthony Edwards, people are going to start saying, "See, he doesn't care about the game too much. He hasn't taken
He's
that leap.
immature.
He's not doing this. He's not doing that." He needs to show up this year to stave off a lot of that criticism
Yeah.
because I'm
These
telling
young
you,
stars.
they're waiting to tear him down.
Exactly. These young stars are built up to be torn down when necessary. First, he's fun and spunky. Next thing you know, he's immature and not a leader. Like all that matters is if you win. Otherwise, it's gonna get flipped. I'll go 8. Especially with Michael Jordan comparisons in the air. I might go 9 actually.
Those are just silly because he kind of looks like him. Those I don't buy much stock into those, bro. Those are nasty work.
They
I
are.
would say
They are
5.
disgusting.
I would say 5. After having as much success and actually surpassing a level of expectations that people set on him this past season, he's cooling. Everything else is not necessarily cherry on the top, but like he's cool and he's on a cool trajectory.
When you have Luka and Shea in the Western Conference with you, 2 other young stars who teams are going to be great, you have to match their pace. He has pressure.
Damian Lillard.
12 out of 10.
He has the most pressure on him for sure.
12
He has the
out of
most
10.
pressure on him. More than Joel Embiid for sure. You're telling me a team traded in everything they have. They emptied their pockets, emptied their wallet, emptied their bank account to go ahead and give their guy, Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the 2 best suitors for his play style. And you telling me y'all don't work together? You telling me I just traded away a pivotal cornerstone piece in Drew Holiday and I just watched them win a championship? Nah.
Listen.
I need it back. I need it.
Everybody,
If he does not have a great
Go
season, the Bucks' next 5 years is ruined. Giannis is not going to be there forever if this team doesn't work because they'll have no way to reload. The entire fate of the Bucks fandom rests on his shoulders. That's an immense amount of pressure.
Everybody thinks Giannis is this wholesome, very loyal superstar who just loves to discover smoothies and stuff like that. Let me tell you, that man is a freaky mastermind. If Damian Lillard does not perform up to standards, Giannis is out of there. He's asking for a trade next year. Do not be fooled by the Disney movie. He will leave.
He's no better than the average man. Everybody's loyal until shit hits the fan. And then you got to ask, do I want to play with... Yeah. Then you got to ask, do I want to play with Chris Middleton and Bobby Portis as my second and third option? Because Damian Lillard is washed?
It's looking very 2014 Miami Heat-ish.
Ooh, please don't say that. Please don't say that.
I'm sorry.
I feel like
It's what it's looking like.
Straight to saying.
At this point in time, I think this has to be one of your favorite segments of all time, Donovan.
Facts
You
in his
love
bag.
pressure so much, bro. I bet you go to the mechanic shop and you look at your mechanic. How you gonna change my oil today? You know what type of car I have? How fast you gonna do it? Make sure you don't get
the
another
oil's
single
bad?
drop.
My oil's bad? Make it worse.
You on the clock right now.
Tires flat? Flatter.
No grace.
More flat. Look at that Kobe commercial.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard.
Zero. I don't
He's in
care
early
about Kawhi.
retirement, bro.
I don't care about Kawhi anymore.
Yeah, we're past the point where it's if he retires, he retires. If he plays, he plays. Whatever.
It's not moving anyone's life, bro. If he plays,
I wish the best for him, but the Clippers no longer have championship hopes of any sort, so it just doesn't matter.
if he plays, then the Clippers are a decent team. If he doesn't play, the Clippers are cooked. Regardless, the Clippers are cooked. It doesn't matter. You're correct.
Yep. Tough. Trey Young.
His team just made a
3.
horrific. His team just wasted 2 years of his NBA career, and they're finally getting back on the right path, setting him up to play productive basketball for the first time in years. He just has to go out there and do his thing. I say like 3 or 4. No,
You can't be more hated than he is now, and the team has no chance of being good. So it really doesn't matter what he does. Like they're going to be mid regardless, and people have already made up their mind about him. They already overhate him.
Exactly.
At this point, he can do whatever he wants.
He's just a villain at this point.
Yeah, for no reason. It's not his fault, but people made up their minds.
It is what it is.
Last one, Jason Tatum. How much pressure is there for him to go back to back?
He's the first player in NBA history to win a championship and have even more pressure on your shoulders.
Facts. They hated him more. They saw him do the thing they said he could never do, and they were like, "Well, I want to see you do it twice now." The
Not even
goalpost was
twice.
immediately moved.
That's so sassy.
I didn't think it was impressive, actually.
I bet he can do it 3 times. Win an MVP. I dare you. Triple dog dare you.
He'll never lead a dynasty.
Fake demon. Fake demon.
Like he has it's almost 10 out of 10, but it really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But he constantly has to prove himself to the entire world. It's so funny.
I don't remember a player who has this type of controversy like Jason Tatum has been. Not controversy, discourse that Jason Tatum has, bro. It's
Yeah, they
probably
treat him like he has
5.
controversy. You
Yeah.
don't think he was a criminal. It's great. There's actual criminals in the NBA that get hated so much less than he does.
Yeah, you're so right.
People care way more about missed step back jumpers than they do crime.
Exactly. All Jason Tatum does is send postcards to his son and win a championship. That's it.
All
But
he
he-
does is love Kobe. And they're like, shut up, idiot.
Sadly, he has no swag. So 10 out of 10 pressure. Show up.
Exactly. You have way less of a leash if you're not fucking dope.
100%.
10 out of
Coolness
10
takes
is
you a long way.
hilarious.
Where did your hezzy tween go, Jason? We need it back in the bag.
Yo, rookie year, Jason Tatum, bag was crazy. Second year, Jason Tatum, bag was crazy.
Why are you talking so light skinned whenever you say it? It's
Crazy.
Crazy.
It's
word.
taking me back. It's taking me back.
It's
I just saw
taking
some
me
highs
back,
on TikTok.
man.
Shit, you won't even
Fuck.
understand.
It wasn't doing it like
Yo, he wasn't playing fair, bro.
Shit on God. Ew.
You look in the
All right,
mirror and you
stop.
see Jason Tatum. Okay, man, that's the end of that. Last thing we're gonna do before we get out of here, we're gonna do a TD3 staple, something we haven't done in quite a while. Running back a classic from year 1 in year 3, 20 questions.
Okay.
So you guys know how this game works. I am gonna think of an NBA player, and you two have 20 questions combined between the two of you. Well, I said like I'm from Baltimore. Two of you between the two of you to guess who the NBA player I'm thinking of is.
All right.
So starting now.
All right, Mo, do you want to do the thing where I ask real questions and you just take guesses?
No,
Sure.
you don't plan it.
Shut up. You don't tell us our game plan. Run
You
it.
don't vocalize it.
Shut up. Run it, Donovan.
That's how you ruin a bit.
Shut up. Run it, Donovan.
Let's go. Is this player a guard?
He is not.
Patrick Williams.
This is not Patrick Williams.
Is this a
Not
current
even
player?
close.
Yes, this is a current player.
Ooh, current player. Denny Avdia.
This is not Denny Avdia.
Okay.
Did they make
Okay,
the
okay.
All-Star team last season?
No, he did not.
Okay.
No All Stars in sight.
The way he said did not means like he is very far from it. Okay. Is he in the Western
He's
Conference?
not close to it. Yes, he's currently in the Western Conference.
Did this
Okay.
player change teams from last season to this season?
No, he did not. Same team.
Same exact team. Same.
Now, will that be the case forever? I don't know.
Is this player older than 26?
Hell yeah, he is.
Ooh.
Did this player's team make the top 6 of the Western Conference standings last year?
I forget because I'm all in preview mode. Let me go see who the top 6 was.
Okay, top 6, top
Steve.
6, top 6. Top 6 of the Western Conference is like Dallas, Clippers.
Yes, they were
Denver.
top 6.
Okay, his team was top 6 last year. Okay, and he is old and he's not a guard. Okay.
Okay. Did this player's team make the second round of the playoffs?
No, they did not.
Ooh.
Not a sec. Okay, that you just sized it down a lot. Okay, so who got knocked out? The Pelicans.
Is this
Ooh.
PJ Tucker?
This is PJ Tucker's old grumpy ass.
Oh, okay.
Ah!
You
You
said
like
he's
that.
on the same team. I wanted to be like, yeah, but he doesn't want to be. I'll tell you that.
yeah. You got it. There you go, Donovan. That was one of our fastest ones, probably. Good shit.
Let's go.
Yeah, 11 questions. You guys killed it.
Okay. See?
All right,
Go ahead,
Dom, you want to do one?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
All right. Your questions start now.
This is Derek White.
No.
Damn it, Isaac. What the hell? What happened to this? Why are you stealing our strategy?
Let me be bold. Let me stand on something.
Play your role. Is he a wing?
No.
Okay, he's not a wing.
Is he on the Celtics?
No.
Yeah, think about that.
Oh. He did have to think about that.
Uh-oh.
Is he current?
No.
Who was
Oh,
on the Celtics
shit.
last year was not current right now? Who'd they cut?
Wait, he's not a current
No.
player?
No, they rolled everybody back.
Yeah, he's not a current player. They're not a current player.
So was he
Okay.
Celtic at one point?
Yes.
Is it
We're
Shaq?
on the shit.
Is it Shaq?
No.
Why would
Damn.
you say Shaq? What are you thinking?
Something Shaq meme. You know what I'm thinking.
Wait, was he on the Celtics last season?
No.
Okay, so a few years back.
Is this player retired?
Yes.
Okay.
Retired a few years ago. Did he make
Okay.
the finals with them in 2022?
No.
Oh shit.
Okay, so
Okay.
he was on the. I'm just wasting questions.
Was he
on
an
there in
all-star?
2023?
No.
Isaac,
To the All-Star.
stop! You're fumbling me.
We're on question 11.
Oh
Is it no to the All Star?
Yes.
He didn't count my question. He didn't even hear me.
I know. What's your question? Your question is 12.
Was he there in 2023?
No.
Okay. Okay, so he's an old Celtic.
He's an old
Not there
Celtic. Come on
anymore.
now. Come on. We gotta be obvious.
You said so he was never an All Star.
No.
That's okay. Never an All Star. Old Celtic. Why does my brain go to Tristan Thompson?
is this? Hold on, no. Is this the White Mamba?
No. 13.
Mm.
No,
Oh, shit.
it's more recent than that.
Is it?
Was he there? Did he play there in the last 7 seasons?
I have to do math. Yes.
Okay, he had to think about it last year. So like maybe just take that out of my mind.
Yeah.
And you asked, I didn't write these down. Did you say he's a guard?
I
that what you asked?
asked if he was a wing. He said no. So
No,
he's not a wing.
Is he a big man?
No. We are now on question
he's a guard.
16. Last 5
we need
questions.
to lock the fuck
Is this
in.
Kemba Walker? This is Kemba Walker.
No. Last
Ah,
4 questions.
Please lock in. Please,
Okay.
please. Okay.
So he's a guard who wasn't there the last 3 seasons, but he was there in the last 7 seasons.
Okay.
So
do you think it
closer
could
to
be
2017.
Isaiah Thomas? Do you think it could be Isaiah Thomas?
No,
Talking
because he
to
wasn't there in the last. He wasn't there in the last 7 seasons. Counting the one. Is it Isaiah Thomas?
No. 3 questions left.
Why'd you ask?
Not
Damn it! Ah.
Okay, here's a good one. Did he play with Isaiah Thomas?
Yes, he did. 2
Okay.
questions.
Wait. Okay.
So-
Isaac, it could be Avery Bradley. It could
We
be
had 2
Avery-
questions to get it down.
Yeah.
Who are the other options? Did
Who else did he play with?
who else play with him?
There's
be
Avery
Kyrie.
Bradley.
Oh, he said no. He
I
wasn't an
know.
all-star.
Yeah.
Jeff Teague was an all-star, so it can't be him.
Evan Turner was. Never mind. Why would you
We had
pick
2
Evan
questions,
Turner?
man. Fuck it. 2 questions. Is it Avery Bradley?
It is Avery Bradley.
Woo! There we go. Isaac,
job.
you almost sold me. Oh my goodness. Why did you almost give me a heart attack?
Sometimes you
man.
gotta be brave. You gotta put yourself out there.
I'm on the same boat as you. You want to make me drown too. God. Shout out to Avery Bradley.
Shout out Avery Bradley. If you're still here at the end of the episode, comment shout out Avery Bradley, Lakers legend. And on that note, if you're gonna be in Boston next week, come see us at our live show. It's in the comments. It's free. Just show up to Boston City Hall Plaza. And yeah, man. We'll see y'all next week.